guess you've seen there's a new background map,
I have.
which is like
Nice.
the world. Yay! I didn't put a "you are here" little mark on it, but because you guys are going to be moving, I hope. Please.
Well,
let us be done with Honeyfest and let us leave this town. Everything. It's my own fault. I do too much and things take like twice or 3 times longer than they're supposed to. But since we're here, can you hear things? Because I don't think this is going to work. I'm dubious. I think that that Fantasy Grounds doesn't support this whatever, and I would actually have to get you guys to connect to Syrinscape to hear sounds, which I'm not going to bother to do at this point.
I can't hear anything through my headphones, and I don't think there's out coming through my speakers.
I haven't played anything. Let me play something.
All right, okay, that would
let's
help. Let's do that first. I can confirm, though, that sound is coming through on Twitch and the screen is on.
Can you hear any music now?
No.
Or is it just me? It's just me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so for next time, this means you have to like follow some stupid link and connect to Syrinscape to hear the stuff through online.
Okay.
But next time, assuming there's a next time.
There's always a next time.
Yeah.
There's always a next time.
What? It's not a complete party.
There'll be battle music to make everybody get really, stressed and tense when
cool.
when the combat happens. And won't that be fun?
We need the mood lighting, like they've got on Critical Role also. Night falls.
Yeah.
I think there's like filters or something in Fantasy Grounds that you can use on maps. Like turn everything slightly purple or something to represent you're in the Feywild.
There should be a way of doing it like through Alexa. You join your Alexa or your Echo or whatever to a group, and your DM can control your lighting for the that'd
Alexa,
be cool.
Dungeon Alert purple.
I wonder if that's actually possible.
Okay, well, since we know that that's not going to work today, let me close out all of this Syrinscape stuff and get it off my desktop so it's cleaner. That's good. And, oh, yeah, I was going to tweet. Or maybe I shouldn't tweet. I don't know. We should maybe get started. Let's just get started. Screw tweeting. We're streaming. Is that not enough? Nobody cares. Okay.
I care. Oh, we're good.
But we're good. So everybody, is everybody physically, if not emotionally prepared?
Yes.
Yes.
Gosh, I hope I am. Yeah, okay, so I did that whole summary video for last session, so I'm not going to go into a big summary thing. I'm going to assume that maybe you guys have watched it to figure out what the hell we did last time.
I have. Rich started it, but she started it too late.
Yeah, I skipped through, and then I got to the bit with the baby judging, and I was like, oh yeah.
Well, that was the end of it. You're like, yeah, baby judging. That you judge babies. That was all. That's all there was to that part.
Yep.
I did recall there are 2 things. There's 2 housekeeping things, kind of. One thing is I remembered that in the whole thing about Sean the Hermit, after the whole the little fight thing, after he fled, you guys did question Belliphauna about like, what do you know about this guy? As part of that whole, he may be a future problem for future you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she did say she did not actually know where he lived, so you didn't have like an immediate address to follow him up.
Oh, it'll be a surprise.
You're like, hi, buddy.
Hey.
One day down the line. She did say that she did mention a phrase that was associated with him, and that was Nest of Retribution. So I remember that. I think I tried to, because Nest of Retribution was one of those things that my brain at the time during the game was struggling to remember, as I do.
And
I've
got that in
now
my notes.
That it's 3 weeks later, I remember it so clearly.
What was his race again? He's a bird person, right?
Aarakocra.
Aarakocra.
Or Okra-Kokra. Or
Okra.
He's Okra. He's Okra. So yeah, he's a bird guy. He's a bird guy. He kind of looks like a vulture, but a person. If a vulture was a person, that's Sean the Hermit. The other thing was really a housekeeping thing, which is I I just realized that before session 3, when I was fiddling around trying to make sure everybody's characters were set up correctly, I thought I'd apply Yelena's fighting style incorrectly in Fantasy Grounds because she had +2 damage to hit, or +2 damage, and she didn't have the +2 to hit from your archery fighting style.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, now that I figured it out, that you have +2 damage on your hits because of the bracers of archery.
Bracers, yeah, I got a special thing.
So I put that back.
Okay.
But you also have the +2 to hit because that's your fighting style on like ranged attacks. You're +2 to hit because you're
Okay.
Excellent. You're ranger danger.
Ranger danger.
So you have +2 on all sorts of things, and it was just like me not realizing what the hell was going on. So that should be correct now. And
Cool.
maybe in 2023, the goal is going to be like everybody's characters are actually set up with the things that they do, and nothing will be missing.
The funny thing is, we'll level up again, and everything will get screwed up.
Oh
again,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I can never do it right.
yeah. You'll be leveling up. Well, eventually.
Eventually, not anytime soon.
Before the end of the year, definitely there will be a level up. God, who knows how long it will take you to travel on this road to Parnast? Good golly. But that was that, and where we left it was at the end of the baby contest. It's the morning of the last day of Honeyfest.
Woo!
And it's time, I think this time, unless there's something that you guys want to address, it's time for
Well, actually,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm joking.
I was like, bring it on, bring it on.
No.
And there are no protests or like, please no, don't. I think it's time for the Tug of War Final. We're Terel to see if your team reigns supreme
Yay!
in the honeyed Coliseum, such that it is.
Okay. Let's do this.
So let's bring that map back. I'm going to share it again with you guys. I don't know if you probably should still have access, but it's a lot to expect. I feel like I had like this really brilliant plan to how to make this more streamlined than last time. Like bip bop boop. And I think what the plan is one of you is going to be on the opposing side with me, and one of you is going to be on Terel's side, and we'll each roll and then take the average, and those will represent our opposing side's strength in this tug of war battle. So let me haul out the other people, and Terel, you go on the map.
I accidentally put Otherworldly Glamour into the dialogue box. I have no idea if that screws up anything, but I didn't mean to do that.
It does not. It's just
Okay.
everyone's like, Yelena, Otherworldly Glamour.
I'm glamorous. I'm just over here being glamorous. Because I was trying to remember, what do I click to look at that to know what I'm talking about here?
I think it's just like a little square.
Yeah, it's a little something. I was looking for the description of it.
There should be like a little square dinky thing to the side to the right of where it's listed under your abilities.
Yeah, it doesn't really have anything. It's not important right now.
Okay. I think your otherworldly glamour, I think, is just your smell.
Okay. What was that? Was I lavender? Was that it?
Yeah, the lavender smell. So the other person on I'm being a doofus. The other person on Terel's team is little CC Greengrow, the 6-year-old, the 8-year-old, the halfling kid who wants a pony. A pony unicorn. I'm sorry. So there she is. Now, does anybody have a preference for where they want to help or hinder Terel?
I was really trying to see if I had anything in my spells. I don't.
I can make you. I'm talking about like who wants. Do you want to volunteer to be on a particular side, like to roll for a particular person? The Terel's opponents, they come into this like little stadium, makeshift stadium, and they are a bunch of burly lumberjacks. Though one of them looks like he's kind of a grandpa. So he has that appearance of like burly days gone by. He's very wiry and his arms are super ropey, but he's very skinny as well, and kind of has that he was once super, super tough, but old age has kind of taken its toll. And the other guy, and you hear his name is Chopper, and he just looks kind of like a mountain. He's pretty bulky. He's a half orc. He has a, plaid shirt, of course, because lumberjack,
Exactly.
and it's like busting at the seam. And the little spindly guy, you hear people calling him Uncle Axel, though he's not related to anybody on the other team. It's just everybody just calls him Uncle Axel. And I should make the other team visible.
I mean, it would make the contest more interesting if we can't see them.
Yeah, be like sneak attack.
That's for sure.
Sneak attack. So do you want me to just make you guys roll, like Yelena and Kai? Do you want to just roll to see who's on Terel's team
Sure.
and who's on the opposition? Roll a d6, and whoever's high is on Terel's side. Is little CC.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So Yelena, you are CC, and here's hoping I remember how to do this right. Did something just pop up on your screen?
It did.
Yay! Do you want to be Uncle Axel or do you want to be Chopper, Kai?
I'll be Chopper.
Right, you should have some Chopper.
Yeah.
And I'm Uncle Axel. All right, as before, this Tug of War is a set of contested strength checks. The highest dice roll wins, pulling the other team forward into the honey one step. If you roll a natural 20, or if the average is, I guess, 20 or higher, if there is a natural 20, let's just say if there is a natural 20, that's 2 steps forward for the other team.
Okay.
And boy, this honey, it's the same honey that they started out with at the start of the festival. So no longer doesn't really resemble honey so much anymore as this brown, sticky goo that's been trampled on repeatedly.
Ew.
Artisanal honey because it has dirt on it.
Very nutritious.
Num num.
There's also going to be like a 30-minute timer. At which point, if no one has won the Tug of War, we will go into sudden death. There will be no actual death in the Tug of War.
I don't know, if you fall in that honey, you might be risking...
Might get tetanus. Or
yeah.
you won't get
dreadful
tetanus.
Disease.
But you might get like an amoebic dysentery or something.
Yeah.
I say again, ew.
All right. And I do have the moonshine cherries in play. So please don't roll any natural 20s. Roll meh.
Okay. We're off to a good start.
All right.
Yeah.
So your teams have lined up. Now, it's not just on Terel's side. It's not just Terel and Cece. You've also got Bomb Knots, a big kind of husky human guy, if I remember correctly. He has a very strong constitution. He won the mead drinking contest the previous day. He seems to have just been drafted into this. I think he's the one who paid the oh no, you deducted some money for the entry fee after the fact, but he covered a lot of it. Like he covered Cece's share. And there's also Loranda Smithborn, the blacksmith for the village. And they're both pretty tough looking, almost kind of like their physiques are on par with the other 2 lumberjacks that are on the same side as Chopper and Uncle Axel. There's a lot of talk among the crowd. More people have gathered for this final than any of the qualifying matches. So the small arena is almost full to capacity. There's some people going around the aisles like selling honey, salted nuts, and things like that just for snacks. And there are other people like selling umbrellas and things to keep out the shade. I mean, keep out the sun, keep out the shade. What? That's not how umbrellas work.
Yes, but somebody should invent one of those, Bonnie. That would be good, wouldn't
Somebody should. Like, I want it to be I want my darkness much brighter, please.
it?
I want an umbrella. Thank you.
Oh
I
dear.
think that's a flashlight, but okay. Oh, enough of the talking and commentary. Everybody roll a strength check.
Strength.
Start pulling.
Ooh.
Oh no! Oh wait, that's a dirty 20. Thank goodness. I thought I was gonna have to drink. I thought I was gonna have to drink right away. I was like, oh, like this is gonna go well. Oh my gosh, Uncle Axel rolled a 19. What? Man. So right off the bat, it looks like Terel is in the muck. Like you were caught a little bit off guard by all the people kind of shouting around, the big crowd that's watching. A little bit of distaste for the honey mud mucky yuck in front of you, and you're thinking about like how you're going to catch a disease from all that. And the other team yoinks you straight into it, and it's on. Roll another strength check.
Ooh. Oh dear.
This is going about
Yes.
the way we think it should be going.
Uncle Axel rolled a 7 this time, but with Chopper's 19, I think that pretty much dominates your 2 10s.
Yeah.
So another step forward, and now both Terel and Cece are in the muck. And Cece, she's like this little halfling girl, so it's up to her waist, and she's like, for crying out loud, pull harder! And you see her, like, she scrunches up her face. You can't see her because she's behind you, Terel. But for anyone who's watching from the crowd, like maybe, I don't know, Kai or Yelena. Are you guys watching for the crowd?
Yeah.
We're just sort of, yep.
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 Thanks, guys.
This is happening.
This is happening. This is a thing.
She scrunches her face up and she gets this really determined little kid look on her face. And she's pulling for all she's worth. Make another strength check. Oh my gosh, Chopper's
You
on
need to
fire.
stop it.
I want to play Chopper from now on.
Can you come with this?
Does Rach have the pencil or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Axel rolled a 3. But I think that just because it's 12.5 and you guys are 11.5, it's actually surprisingly close because I rolled pretty poorly. But you still get pulled forward as square Terel.
Oh no.
Things are
This
not
was a
looking
really
good.
bad idea.
Because this means that 3 of the 4 people on your team are in the honey. So if you lose this next roll, that means you lose the final.
Okay. Well, this could be really short and sweet.
So if there's anything you can do to help your strength checks.
Oh, hang on. That's a really good idea. I meant to look at that before we
You got some
started.
magic?
I would suggest now is the time. And I was like, these teams are even in their strength modifiers. So you guys should be tied with your base abilities. It's just rolling at this point.
Can I do an ensnaring strike to actually keep me in place? No. I haven't got anything, I don't think. Hang on, I'm just checking what I've got. What was that jade staff? Is that the one that turns into a snake?
Yeah, it does turn into a snake.
Can I whisper to the can I whisper to the staff to tell it to go tickle the opponents?
You could certainly send your snake. Well, measure out What
Feels like
movement?
cheating.
What movement does your snake have?
Don't know. I don't know if it tells me.
Let me look at a snake. Because if it's 30 feet, they won't even be able to get to the other dude. Well, they could dash, I guess. Yeah, they could dash.
Yeah, it don't. Yeah, I don't have any details on what it does.
I'd have to give you a snake, but I'm pretty sure a snake can go at least 30 feet, and your snake could dash over there and like potentially startle the other team, so they'd be like at disadvantage or something. If you choose to do that.
Do I? Hang on. I'm a paladin. It kind of seems like cheating. I shouldn't do that. Nah, go on. I'll leave it. I'll just roll. I'll be good.
Okay. All right.
I need to stop creating goody two-shoe characters.
So Terel makes a moral choice. And instead of shenanigans, chooses to make another strength check.
Yeah.
Oh, cherry tart.
Oh my gosh!
This is so
You are on
Definitely switching
fire!
Sherry! We're using all your high rolls on this.
Yeah, I
Tug O
know.
On
War.
Chopper.
I'm gonna suck for the rest of the night.
Well, with that, Terel, momentarily distracted by the call of your conscience, as you debate whether or not to perhaps take an unfair advantage and unleash your snake staff. You're caught off guard by the sudden yoinking from the other team as Chopper digs in and just pulls back with tremendous force. You kind of let the rope go slack for a second just as you think you're making some purchase and you're gonna be able to move backwards. He catches you by surprise and jerks it in the opposite direction. And you are pulled fully into the honey pile. The whole team splashes down face first into the muck, and you have lost the Tug of War Final.
Well, shucks.
Aww. The team of lumberjacks, they celebrate. They're victorious and happy, and they're jumping up and down. And the four of you, you, CC, Bombknots, and Lorinda Smithborn, are sitting in the honey mud, and you hear Bombknots say, "Well, crap." And CC just starts kind of crying a little. She's like, "No, I'm never going to get a unicorn pony."
Oh no! What did it?
What
why?
was the prize? Is there a unicorn pony they're giving away?
No, the prize purse was 200 gold, and everybody was going to get a 50 gold cut, and a pony was going to cost her 50 gold.
I will give her 50 gold.
You just give her 50 gold?
I'm going to give her 50 gold.
So as you kind of like slop out of the arena with like the honey and the mud just kind of dripping from your armor.
Yep, I just sort of like fish out this really muddy pouch of money.
You can't stand the meeping halfling kid, and so you hand over this purse.
Yeah.
And as you do, her parents are nearby, and they see it and they smile, but it's kind of like that like nervous smile about like parents whose kids have just been given a drum. And they're like, "Thank you so much." And Cece is just ugly. She's ready to just run over the other side of the Honeyfest camp and go buy her pony right now. But her mom's like, no, you need to wash off the mud first. To the bath pavilion with you, young lady. And thus ends the Tug of War.
Yay.
I haven't eaten the cherry yet. So let's take a moment to pause and reflect that only took 12 minutes.
See, it was a cunning plan.
And unlike the last Tug of War in which I ate like 4 cherries, I'm only having to eat 1. So I feel like this is a success. Thank you, Kai. Thank you for your rolling expertise.
You're welcome.
Though I am sorry that you did not experience victory this day, Terel.
It's okay. I'm sure it won't be the last time that I lose.
Campaign's over. Womp womp. No. At this point, I should ask you, is there anything else that you want to address? Or we'll just go straight on to the closing ceremony of Honeyfest.
Wasn't there the lottery drawing for the
Well,
booth?
Yes.
that will be at the closing ceremony.
Yeah, excellent. Okay.
I don't think there was anything else, was there?
I don't think so.
As you leave the arena, well, I guess after you leave the arena, you go and take a bath, Terel.
Yes, I will definitely require a good soaping down.
So Kai, you and Yelena, you kind of having to wait around for Terel to get sorted for a while longer. And while you're hanging out, you're in the space that used to be occupied by the pet stall, but the druid cleared out overnight, so it's just an empty space now. Some partially tread grass where tables and livestock used to be, and a bunch of rocks. And while you're hanging out there, just lazing in the space, as you do, using Kai's skill set, you see Lady Belliphauna Than. She's walking by and she approaches the jewelry wagon, which is still within your view side. It's not right by where you are. It's kind of to a diagonal down the walk a little bit. There's probably two more carts and another kind of branch off of the pathways in between the different wagons and booths at the festival. But you can get a sight of her approaching, and you see that she's having some kind of conversation with the purveyor of the jewelry wagon. The wagon, you see that there's like a little banner in front of it. It's very fresh looking, very new, and it says Jingo O Jonas Jewelry. And you see like there's some talking and there's an exchange of bags. Belliphauna then leaves, and she looks pretty happy with herself. And you see the jeweler just tucks the bags away. He doesn't put the wares out for sale. Then a little more time passes, and Terel is finished with her bath and grooming and general personal hygiene. Now, if there's nothing else that anyone wants to do, we will skip on to the closing ceremony, into the contest pavilion tent where you had the beautiful baby contest this morning.
Okay.
Deleting those lumberjacks. I'm going to take down this map. As you get there, you see that Drusel Liadon, Arbiter Drusel, is up the front. He's wearing his natty, flowered embroidered vest as usual. And he seems to be presenting some medals and awards to the winners of different contests. So once you get there, he's handing out something for like the largest vegetable, and it's like this really big aubergine. And then you see Bomnot shows up again, and he's kind of like, he still has wet hair because he was like hurriedly trying to get the muck off of himself as well. And he gets like a little golden cup for winning the drinking contest. And then Terry is called up front, and he gets a prize because while you were judging the beautiful baby contest, Terry won the bee race with his bee Stang the Conqueror. So you see, Terry gets.
How does that even work?
What?
How does that even work? How do they know which bee won?
They're very distinct bees. Everybody.
Okay.
They know they're bees. And Stang the Conqueror is especially noticeable. He's like he's a brute. Yeah, you see that Terry gets like a little gold prize, small purse, and he also gets a bottle of honey mead, Fey mead is what it's called. And Busy Snow Beetle, who runs the meadery, she comes up to the front to present this prize. You notice that she seems to be kind of floating, like she's levitating, and she seems a little bit drunk, like she's hiccuping as she presents the bottle and the purse. And you see Drusel's a little bit like askance as he looks at her hand over this Fey mead bottle, and he's like, I thought we were gonna hold on to that, keep it in the storage room for storehouse for safekeeping. And she's like, oh no, Terry's a good boy, let him have a good time. And she hands over the bottle, and Drusel seems to be like, okay, all right, I'm not gonna worry about it. But Terry now is 20 gold richer, and he has a bottle of Fey mead. Finally, after all these prizes have been unleashed, you see Johanna roll out the tombola with two rangers giving her escort, and it gets spun around, and it's time for that raffle. By this point, the tent is full of people who had entered the raffle or are looking to see if they've won the prize.
Do we know what numbers are on the tickets that we bought?
I don't know who has what number. Oh, I do know who has what number because I actually made notes. Oh, wow.
That's good. Yay. Because I don't remember. I vaguely remember maybe we brought this up.
Yes. Terel, you have a 21 on your ticket.
Okay.
Kai, you have a 37 on your ticket. Yelena, you have a 58 on your ticket.
Thank you.
Terry's got like 10 tickets.
Number 12 or 38.
12 and 38. You have Terry's ticket. You know what Terry has on his ticket.
I know Terry's, but not mine, no.
Oh my gosh.
This was the problem that was not our problem.
The problem that was not your problem that you decided was absolutely not important.
Exactly.
This is me finding the actual raffle tombola table. So I can roll for the winning ticket. So there's hush, but there's like slow murmurs of excitement as the tombola starts getting turned. And then once Joanna stops turning the tombola, she gestures to Drusel to pick the winning ball out of the tombola. And he picked 50, which is none of y'all's tickets.
Well,
and you hear a little squeal, and a squeal that Terel recognizes because it's CC Greengrow.
Oh, even better than Pony. Parents are absolutely going to be freaking out.
Yep.
She's got 50 gold and you can fly.
She already has her pony. She already has the pony. She has her pony in the contest pavilion tent. And you see her ride up to the front of the tent on the back of this pink and green painted pony with like a foam horn. And she is sitting there like she's like a little princess. And she's like, oh boy! Let me at it! And she presents her ticket, and she gets this little bee outfit and the winged boots. And she's like instantly putting them on, and you see her like try to like set them off, and she's like trying to ride on the pony and fly with the winged boots at the same time. And she's like trying to get the pony to fly with her, but it's not working. And so her butt's just lifted off of the saddle as her wing boots fly the rest of her in the air, but she's hugging onto the pony's neck. This is going to be fun for her parents.
Yeah, her parents are not going to have a good week.
they come along and they're like, okay, Cece, we'll have to play with this at home, not in the tent. And they take the boots off of her and put them in like a satchel, and they like usher her out of the tent as she squeals, still like she's so excited that she's like gotten all the stuff today. She is absolutely hyper and thrilled. But before the crowds start to disperse with different people looking kind of disappointed that they didn't win the prize, Drusel silences the chatter and kind of signals for everybody to bring their attention back to the front. And he wants to make one more announcement. And he says, most of you are aware of Ruchevert's recent troubles. Without the bees that make our green hive thrive, there would have been little cause to celebrate Honeyfest this year. We would be remiss to not recognize those responsible. And then he finds you three in the crowd and he says, Kai, Terel, Yelena, please come forward. And all of the
Okay.
eyes in the crowd are like looking at you now. So how do all of you react to this?
I guess we go up and get this over with.
Yeah, okay.
You see the halfling, Jingo O'Jonas, who ran the jewelry stall. He's appeared, and he looks a little bit nervous, but he's standing at Drusel's elbow, and he's holding a small oak box. And once you get to the front, and there's like the nervous shuffling, and then the people in the audience are kind of, shuffling in their seats, wondering what's going on. And Drusel says, thanks to you three bringing back our bees, the winter in Ruchevert will be a little less cold. The spring that much more hopeful. And to express our gratitude, we declare you heroes of Ruchevert. And he motions to the crowd, and everyone's like, huzzah! Huzzah! And then the halfling steps forward, and he opens up the oaken box, and inside are 3 little brooches that are shaped like bees. And I have the picture somewhere. There you go.
Oh,
These little
they
bee
magic?
pins
Cute.
made out of gold, and there's little diamonds chips like encrusted in the filigree wings.
Terel can already see that Kai's trying to work out how much it'll hawk for.
Rude.
And they seem to open like they're pins, but they're also like little lockets. And on the inside, engraved in black enamel, it says Hero of Ruchevert. And then if you look on the underside, there is like the jeweler's mark that says J-O on it. And as soon as you're presented this, and like Drusel like attaches one to each of you, except for Terel, who has like metal armor, and it's kind of like, where does it go? How does it fit? And then he just puts it in your hand, like you'll figure it out where the pins go on armor.
We
And
could always weld it on, couldn't we?
as insignia or something.
Emboss it into the armour.
And you're given like a final cheer and thanks from Drusel, and then the crowd does finally start to depart.
And that's the end of Honeyfest, yes?
That is the official end of Honeyfest.
Wow.
From that point on, you see some people are starting to work at breaking down the tents. People are, dismantling their booths. The people who are traveling itinerantly, or people are like kind of preparing their wagons, putting away their stores. You see, Lord Jomont has been talking to Lady Belliphauna a little bit, and they part, and he seems to be going off busy somewhere with things to do. And then she approaches you, and she's like, are you still good to travel escort to Parnast? with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. There'll be several people, but it's going to take me probably, I estimate I'm going to be spending all of tomorrow purchasing livestock and some goods and getting them packaged in wagons. Since I'm starting to make these purchases now, and it'll give me time to sort everything out and prepare for the road.
What livestock are you getting?
Oh, cows and goats
Oh my
and
god, are we going to be in a cattle drive?
yes, yes.
Yay! All right.
I might have mentioned the dragon cult. Yeah, they pretty much cleaned out all the wildlife in the area. People are kind of involuntarily vegan in Parnast right now, unless they want to eat squirrel. So we kind of need to replenish the livestock in the area. And that's why I'm going to be bringing back a lot of cows and goats and whatnot. Pigs, I think, maybe. I don't know. I've been talking to a guy.
What are our animal handling?
I think you're the only one with any animal
Oh,
handling.
actually, I'm very good at it. Okay, so
Unless
all
somebody
right.
took proficiency in it, you're the only one I think who
Mm-mm.
has a high
I've got
wisdom.
I've got a +4 to it, so okay, that'll work.
I mean, I've got intimidation. I could shout them.
Be really bossy to the animals.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
And I can make friends with them. And can Kai talk? Who can talk to them?
I
Is it
can.
Kai? Okay.
Yeah, I've got to speak with animals. So I could shout at them in their own language.
Excellent. And as you have this conversation, Belliphauna does say, "Well, I am bringing along one person who's going to be responsible for handling the livestock."
Well, okay, but we're just checking, making sure if we've got some
But
ability to help you out if necessary.
I'm sure your help is probably needed at some point because it's going to be a pretty big job for one guy. I'm hoping that this guy who has pigs is going to work out because then there'll be like two people who know animals.
She's not hired Terry, has she?
I don't. She's just saying that she's been talking to some guy who has pigs.
As pigs.
Do you ask her anything outright?
Yeah, I'm going to say he's not Terry, is he?
Well, yes. There's his name's Terrence Scald.
Well, look at Kai.
He won the bee contest, the bee race. He
Just-
was the one with the little pig at the baby contest that ran away. Yeah, is that the same as Terry? Is he Terry?
That's Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he was thinking about it. He said he had something to take care of before he could leave town. But he's going to do that tomorrow, and tomorrow's when I'm going to be buying a lot of the livestock and getting the goods together. So we're going to leave the morning after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. We'll all congregate at the town square. There will be a few people from Ruchevert who are traveling with us. Mainly Mason. Well, there's a carpenter and there's a mason who's been working here itinerantly for a while. And then there's the fiance of the carpenter. She has some knowledge in weaving, and I have this whole like silkworm project. You don't want to hear about it, but okay. There'll be a few people from the village coming along with us. And then there'll be like Lord Jomont's soldiers and Ragnar, who you know Ragnar, and me. Um, oh, and Euphoria, but she's keeping her distance. You understand. Just sort of withered on the down low. And I think that's it. Oh, and I guess there's people traveling. There's people traveling out of town, heading back home, I guess, for the next few days. So, uh, there'll probably be a larger group when we start than when we finish. So, take tomorrow for yourselves. Wrap up any business you have here in Ruchevert. I guess say your goodbyes. Do do you disapprove of this of Terry Galt? Is he a bad person? Is he not good with animals?
No, he's good with animals. He's not
Do you
bad.
know that? Do you know that?
He's got pigs.
That don't mean he's good with them.
Do you think I shouldn't hire him?
No. Not saying that. I didn't know whether or not he would be qualified.
Oh, well, he seems to be. I mean, he has quite a prosperous pig ranch.
Okay. Then yeah, we've only had like minor dealings with him, so I wasn't aware that he would be.
But he seemed a little bit undecided about what to do. I don't know. I mean, if you think he's okay, maybe you could talk to him for me, because I think we could use the extra hands. But if you think he'd be better off staying here in Ruchevert, by all means. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I want everyone to be committed to the enterprise, as it were. I mean, it takes a frontier spirit, People want to build something. That's what we need in Parnast. So if you think your friend Terry fits the bill, please encourage him. But if you think it wouldn't be a good fit, then please let me know. I don't want to lead him astray.
Sure.
We'll have a chat.
Do we know?
I've no idea. But Kai's been his busy mate for.
Yeah, what? You're basically gambling buddies hanging out at the tavern every night up until Yelena and Terel showed up in town.
Mm.
He's your best mate, probably your only friend.
Well, yeah.
Because Terry, he's good natured,
Mm.
He's not the brightest bulb, but
yeah,
he's
I
not.
mean, at least we know where he is and what he could potentially getting up to if he's with us.
What, rather than picking dangerous plants in? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And plus, you don't know. I don't know.
Well, do you have anything specific on your mind that you would like to do before you leave town?
Well, there's something to do with that rock.
Do I have that rock?
You did the sleight of hand on the
Yes.
pet rock, didn't you?
That's right.
You did a bait and switch, and took the
Have a
dwarf
symbol
baby
on the
rock.
bottom of it or something.
I was looking at my inventory.
Yes. And I didn't import the picture of the rock with the symbol into Fantasy Grounds that I used in the video. But I think I have something. Yeah, I just ate a moonshine cherry absentmindedly. That needs to not happen.
Do we think there's anywhere in the village that we would be able to maybe see if anyone knows about the symbol, or is it worth waiting until we get to somewhere a bit more populous? Or does it mean all to us?
Well, that's what the symbol kind of looks like. That's etched on the side of the pet rock that Yelena traded off.
Would any of us recognize that? Just
Do history check.
Bloody hell, Kai.
nope. The guy might.
Both Kai and Terel, you remember that that Ragnar Redtooth at his tattoo booth was talking about somebody wanting a tattoo of a cult.
Mm.
And he shooed him off with a flea in his ear because Ragnar, loudly declares he does not support cult activity. No, indeedy, he does not. And he was talking about a symbol for the cult of the Black Earth was what the person had asked for.
Right.
But he didn't show you the sign of it or anything like that. So you'd have to follow up with him if you wanted to take the rock, have him take a look at the rock.
Well, he's coming with us, isn't he? So
He is coming with. He is part of the caravan.
right.
He's somewhere around these grounds. At this point, you could like you're free to do stuff for like the next 36 hours or so before everyone is to meet at the town square for the caravan to take off. And you can find people throughout either packing up the Honeyfest grounds, breaking everything down and clearing out the space to leave it back as nature originally gave it, or returned back to Ruchevert town proper. There's some people who are renting out the rooms that isn't yours, which I think there's like only 3 rooms left that aren't that belong to you 3. And then there was the camp to the southwest of the festival activities where people who are from out of town had wagons. And you know that's where like Lord Jomont was camping with his men.
You see, Terel's not really bothered about going anywhere near Lord Jamont and his men in case someone recognises me and grasses me.
I think well, I think we established that Lord Jamont's men are all mercenaries. They were not people who are from the citizenry of Oakshield.
Ah, right, okay.
That I think he said something to the point of to the effect of he leaves the people who are like natives of Oakshield to defend Oakshield because they have a horse in the race. They have a vested interest in protecting the place. Though I'm not quite sure, like how he put it, like or like how you interpreted what he said. But the people who travel with him now are mercenaries. He said something to the fact that he likes to travel with mercenaries
Right. Okay.
as his entourage. It's like very straightforward, men for hire, women for hire. So they wouldn't be people who would recognize you.
Okay.
I think there
And
was something else I was going to say. I think I also did say that Ragnar was staying at one of the rooms in the tavern. Previously, Lady Belliphauna has been sleeping in that tent, the VIP tent. And she will like this one more night, but like tomorrow night she's going to have to find other lodgings because it's going to have to be broken, packed away or left as the last thing. Because I think it's like Lord Jomont's tent or something. Kind of has that tournament festive tent glamping vibe going on. So she might be stuck bunking at the inn or at Drusel's or something like that. The very last night in Ruchevert. So yeah, I think Ragnar is either in the tavern at the Queen's Rest, or he's going to be breaking down stuff at the Honeyfest grounds.
Yelena, have you got any thoughts?
Not really.
No.
Do we just need to be doing some shopping, maybe?
I mean, yeah, that's another option. Even though I've just given a chunk of gold to some daft child.
Who now has flying boots?
Yeah.
Who now has flying boots and a pink and green pony with a foam horn on its head.
Living her best life.
Yeah.
And a little bee costume with like fairy wings.
But the brooches that we got, do they have any sort of magical quality to them? No, just cool.
Do any of you have a detect magic thing you want to do to it? You don't get any kind of like sense of immediacy of any, I guess, any of the spiritual vibes that you can detect. And they didn't come with instructions of any kind of like how to use your new magical bee brooch.
Your bee brooch.
Like
Yeah,
sometimes these things do come engraved with like a power word and stuff on them. So I mean that's not too crazy, but these don't have any determinable just from a visual inspection. And after playing with them for a while, nothing happens. You don't attune to anything after an hour.
I just take it and pretend I'm a little bee flying around going. Bzzz.
It's excellent for that.
Yeah.
Glitters in the sun.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Oh, which you just reminded me though that I actually had the items for the bees to give to you to put in your inventory. So derp, derp, derp. Everybody gets gold bee.
Yay. So back to the rock. Did we ever figure out why that one had a symbol on it?
No.
Why? Who had it? Who had? I'm sorry for forgetting who we purloined that from. Was that?
You,
It was a
Fairy?
baby from the
it
competition.
was a
Baby
dwarf baby. Yeah,
Dwarf
baby
baby.
Strongbeard or something.
But it's more likely to have come from either the parents have put it on the rock, which seems odd,
Yeah.
or it's from whoever was selling the pet rocks. I can't remember who was selling the pet rocks.
There was a tabaxi. They had a name.
Well, if everyone's packing up, maybe we should just wander up and
Yeah,
see.
let's wander over there.
Yeah, we'll go see if the tabaxi's still, around.
I think the tabaxi's name was Russell, but they're one of the groups that left in the night.
Right.
Hmm.
Do we get any vibe from the rock that there's something like a tracker on it or cursed or maybe that
Caution.
explains maybe that explains the bad rolls today.
She who holds the rock is doomed.
Yes, doomed. Rock doom.
Okay, you should all have a gold bee now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Just sat nicely next to my golden acorn.
Getting a whole little collection of knickknacks.
Mm.
One day when you retire, you can put them all up on a shelf.
They can sparkle back at me.
The Adventure Shadow Box.
With some like porcelain gnome children, and it'll be like a real display. I don't know why I think that's funny, but okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so you're shaking the rock around, right? Is that what I'm getting out of this conversation?
I'm just sort of wondering if we need to worry about this or if this is something we'll stick a pin in it and come back to it later.
I just asked you this question, but I distracted myself. What do you do to like inspect the rock?
I am looking at it, feeling it, flipping it over. I don't think I've got any ability to detect magic.
I've got divine sense, but that's more celestial and fiend type things. It's not really going to be the same thing, is it? Sorry, Kai, what were you going to say?
Oh, so I ain't got anything, I think.
Oh, we're an effective group, aren't we?
Yeah. So if this is like a cult symbol, should we be carrying it?
Do you want to seek out Ragnar and ask him about if it's like?
Is this like walk around with a swastika? So we need to drop this thing real quick.
It does look like a rock. I mean, it looks like a rock. I mean, it's almost. Other than that symbol, there's practically no difference compared to the other pet rock you had. It also has googly eyes. It's about the same size and weight of the other rock. I mean, they aren't exactly exact because they're rocks.
Right.
But you can't really tell that the stone seems to be any different in composition. It's just etched. And you shake it around and the googly eyes Google.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go run by him and say, hey, we came across this. We know it's some sort of cult symbol. Is this
one the guy we're asking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
You find Ragnar at the Queen's Rest. He's settled down He's settled down at the bar, having a nice glass of mead. And you see there's someone other than Johanna behind the bar. There's a guy, and he seems to be doing some food prep. And you recognize that this guy is like, he's someone who you think works one of the farms in town. And he recognizes the three of you, and he's like, hey Kai, Yelena, Terel, how you doing? I'm pitching in here, helping Jan out because she's gotten so, absent-minded.
Well, that we know all about.
Drusel says I can try my hand at cooking. I always kind of wanted to be a chef, so this is exciting for me. And I'll be able to help keep Johanna maybe out of a little bit of trouble, help her keep track on the guests and stuff. Like, Kai, I noticed you've been staying here at half rate for like 6 months or something.
No.
Oh, well, I mean, Johanna must like you, give you the neighbor rate. Yeah, because I mean, you're one of us, aren't you? Hero of Ruchevert and all.
Maybe.
Mhm.
It's probably the going rate for a hero of Ruchevert, don't you think? That must be what's going on. All right, well, let me just mark that off as paid. And you see him messing around the ledger, and he's like putting a check mark and little inscriptions by 3 different names. And if you like peer closer, you see it's yours.
Okay.
And he's like putting down notation, hero of Ruchevert. Rate. So Ragnar, he's drinking at the bar. He's got one of those blue meads going on, made out of the special honey.
So I guess we just sidle up to him and
Hey, Ragnar.
hey.
Hey, mate, how's the tattoo?
It's fantastic, and I will be visiting you when we get to Parnast to see what we can do with it.
Excellent. I like that. I like it. Good work. Very excited to get on the road with you.
Yes, well, we're ready to see new places, I think. Done everything we can here. But I wondered if I could introduce you to my comrade Yelena, who's, well, we've come across something, and I thought of you after the discussion we had whilst you was giving me my tattoo, and I just sort of nudged Yelena forward.
We came across this at the Pet Rock booth and thought it was odd because I don't think anybody else's Pet Rock had this marking on it. And my understanding is this might not be a good marking. So is this something we just need to ignore and just throw the rock away and not worry about it? Or what? And then I show it to him.
Ragnar seems to like squint at it, like maybe his he's a little bit nearsighted. And then he detects the marking on it, and then kind of like holds the rock back. And he's like, "Oh, that is the mark of the cult of the Black Earth."
Well, phooey. Right.
Oh, Dust, you got this from the pet store, you say?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Pet Rock.
Don't like the sound of that. A rock with the mark of the cult of the Black Earth on it.
the thing is, it's potentially the rock has been in other hands after being purchased, so we don't know for definite it had the marking on, do we, when it was sold?
Well, I don't know what it means. I know that it's not necessarily a good sign. Certainly not a sign of any organization that I, Ragnar Redtooth, associate myself with, because it is a cult, and I do not support cult activity. No.
Okay.
Well, neither do I. So
No, we
we're on
don't.
the same page, yes.
Yeah, but
However,
it is the cult of the Black Earth symbol.
it is definitely their symbol. It is their mark. You got it from the pet store. I mean, you have to wonder. I mean, why? Have you
Yeah.
seen other pet rocks from the store? I know
Yeah,
that the lad was giving them out left, right, center.
and they all seem to be plain.
Well, I know there's several people in this village who got them pet rocks. I've seen. I mean, at the festival, I saw far and wide, practically everyone had one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't studied them for marks. And at this point, people have started to depart the festival. So some of the people who've got rocks have surely gone out afield. They're headed back to their homes.
Right.
Yeah,
My
but
my feeling is this: if it's not magical, which I don't think we think it is,
yeah,
and
will
it's
they even know?
I think we just sort of ditch it someplace
Well,
and not worry about it.
would it be able to be used as a way to infiltrate the cult, just in case we had to at some point?
Yeah, I guess it's
Ooh.
possible too. I don't want somebody coming across and thinking we're members of it.
You got somewhere you can hide it.
And you see, at this
I've got
point,
my vest.
Ragnar gets a little shady look in his eyes, like, "Oh, do you?"
What?
Was it
What?
Kai who said it could be a decoy for
Yeah,
infiltration?
Yeah, like a pass to get into somewhere.
Like, show the sign of the Black Earth. Oh yeah, we're your buddies, we're your friends, and lull them into a sense of complacency, and then you just stab him and you bash him over the head because they're dirty cultists.
Yeah,
Possibly
like
that.
yeah.
It might be that.
That's not a very good secret society. Here's a rock. Oh, you're in.
I don't know how these nefarious people work because I am, like I say, I mean I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to engage in cultist activity.
I just thought cultists might be a little more clever than that. I don't know. That's not very challenging. I'll leave it up to Kai and Terel. What should we do with this? Should we hang on to it? I can go either way with this.
I think hang on to it just in case. Just put it in one of your
I'll put
pockets.
one of my many pockets. I'll find the most secret pocket I've got.
The one,
Okay.
the one with
One
the
of your
pocket
pockets.
inside the pocket inside the pocket inside the pocket. Yeah.
One of the inside pockets of the inside the vest. Yeah. Okay.
Ragnar gets he has kind of like a philosophical look in his face. It's like, it could mean everything, that symbol, or it could mean nothing. I don't know what to tell you.
We'll look at the barkeep and say, how many has he had?
And you see, he looks around, which I don't know why I can't remember this guy's name, but I think his last name is something or other. I'll figure it out one day, and it won't matter because you're not in Ruchevert anymore. You won't be in Ruchevert anymore, so it doesn't matter who this guy is. He's like Bean Guy. Call him Beans. I don't know. He's like chef something, and he's like, oh, he's got an open tab. He's got an open tab.
Okay. Right.
Fan family is paying, I guess. Joanna's paperwork is terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But Ragnar, he is definitely into his cups, and he's like, he's musing about like, it'd be pretty bad if the cult is coming back and having more activity now. Everybody do a history check.
Okay. That could have been worse.
I'm just not
fucking hell, Kai.
history, whatever, it's in the past.
It's so stupid how like Kai knows more about the history. Like this happens in previous history roll. Or like Kai, who has not lived in the Forgotten Realms until like 6 months ago,
but seems to have read up everything to know.
Yeah, was forced
Soaked it all in
to study the surfacers and learn their history so that they can be like crushed under the yoke of like drow supremacy or something. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Kai seems to know a lot about your business. Kai knows definitely that like there's a few years ago there was cult activity of the cults of elemental evil, and there were 4 different cults. Cult of the Black Earth being the one associated with Earth. And then there were other cults associated with air, fire, and water. They all rose up and were trying several years ago in this area to I'm sorry, I had a coughing fit. And they were going to try to make this plane coterminous with different planes of the elements and have like an invasion of evil elemental lords. So Kai remembers that because it was a pretty good plan, but like it completely got foiled by like some heroes and stuff. But he remembers that this was the area where the cults were most active. Kind of from the point of Ulavan to the west to Westbridge. And as Kai explains this, Yelena, you're thinking, oh, hey, Westbridge, I grew up near there. Hello, yeah, maybe there was something having to do with elemental cults back then with cultists. That might be why you don't like cultists.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Why don't I like them again? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Elemental cultists. They're on your bad side. You don't like them. You, for some reason, you can't remember the details about like why you don't like them. Did you know that they put a bad taste in your mouth, and you don't like any of this business whatsoever? Because like 5-6 years ago, these cults were smashed down, and you heard rumors that like, and Kai, you think that even like the elemental lord of Earth was rumored to be destroyed by a group of heroes. An elemental prince of Earth was destroyed. And the cults scattered to the four winds, but it's been several years, and it's a little bit ominous that perhaps those who disappeared into the shadows or disappeared underground in the cult of Black Earth are maybe still out there operating, at least putting symbols on rocks.
Oh yeah, maybe it's a sign for, to say that they're still there for anybody else who was a member and wants to return, maybe.
But like they had some activity in the Forlorn Hills and in the Somber Hills back in the day.
Okay, we'll be passing the Forlorn Hills on the way to Parnast, won't we? If we're following the road.
Mm-hmm.
This map's great. I guess we keep an eye out, especially if we're passing through a couple of villages, maybe just have a nosy on the way. See if there's all we need to worry about.
Yelena, is there anything else after you've had this like little discussion trying to remember about the cults of elemental evil and the history there and how like, yeah, they kind of pissed you off once? Is there anything else that you want to do in examining the rock?
No, I think I'm just going to slip it in one of my inner pockets and not worry about it for now.
Okay. So it's getting to be evening. This day is actually High Harvest Tide, the holiday, which I think makes Kai kind of excited that it's your first, maybe your first like real surfacer holiday that you've gotten to celebrate
Okay.
with this festival. I dimly recall that you're supposed to be really keen on holidays
It does ring a bell.
as one of your quirks.
Yeah.
But don't let me tell you what to do.
A quirky quirk.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Quirky schmirky. Let's just say, okay, we're moving on to the nighttime. If you guys don't have anything else you want to do.
I mean, I can't think of what. I mean, not without actually like leaving the village and going off somewhere. But if we've only got like a day, there's no point in doing that and risking anything.
Right.
That's how I feel anyway. I don't know about the other guys.
Yeah. I think just rest up and.
Mm.
Well, I think we're going to be fine.
Mm. Pack our rooms.
Pack up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you've got 6 months worth of stuff to sort out.
I travel light.
It's mostly paper.
What money? Betting slips.
I think he has
I
less
owe
money
you slips.
now than he did when Honeyfest started. So
Yeah.
it's like he was already packing.
Yeah.
So the night passes without incident. And everyone, I guess, wakes up bright and early, unless, I don't know, Kai, if you wake up bright and early or not. But when you make your way back to the tavern where Johanna would normally be serving breakfast, she's there and she's wrangling Sprinkle and shooing Sprinkle outside to use the outhouse. But and she's like, mustering the animals that are inside as well. But the chef guy, is behind the bar again, and unlike the meals that you have been presented up until now of like oats and raw rabbit and various and sundry livestock feeds, there's more of the scones that Drusel sent over once with like the orangey bits and the honey and the cream. But there's also like a full spread. There's like bacon, but it's in like a little kind of covered silver charger kind of situation, so that like Johanna doesn't have to look at it. And there's like a corn porridge and aka grits, and there's scrambled eggs and things like that, and various sauces and fruit that have been prepared in a much more appetizing and edible spread than you have previously experienced at the Queen's Rest.
Yum. Breakfast then.
And there's also coffee for those who like coffee, and tea for those who like tea. And there's a note that Johanna presents you with. She's like, Drusel sent this over for and she has to read the envelope again, for Kai and Terel and Yelena. Do you know them?
Drusel.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, we know them.
Yeah, we know.
Oh,
Yep.
can you give this note to them for me, please? Thank you.
Sure.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Welcome to Ruchevert. Enjoy your stay.
Thanks.
So it's a short written note, and it's an invitation for Drusel to stop by for tea on your last day in town.
I guess it can't hurt. It would be polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything else. We're not doing anything else. But we gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
But we'll stop in and say hey and goodbye, and perhaps we will swing back here.
Yeah.
Need
to get to bed early because we're up next day.
Yes.
So you have breakfast. Yeah, you have breakfast. The owlbear, once the owlbear's gone outside, it comes back in, and it's like, it's bigger than when you first arrived in Ruchevert. It's grown a bit in the past month.
Oh my god, how long have we been here?
Yeah, you've been in Ruchevert for a month.
We lost some time in the Feywild.
Yeah, you lost some time in the
This is
Feywild.
true.
And we kind of condensed like there was a 10-day leading up to Honeyfest, and then Honeyfest was another 6 days. So like, we condensed a big bunch of that post honey bee adventure. So the owlbear has grown, but the owlbear is still small enough to fit through the front door. Maybe like the tail feathers get stuck a little bit and has to wiggle through. But
He's not going to be able to get through for much longer.
Yeah, at this point, still technically an indoor owlbear, but maybe not for much longer.
Can I cast Speak with Animals?
Sure.
It's like a 10-minute thing, isn't it? Or is it?
I think so.
All right. Can we just assume that I did the 10 minutes?
Yeah. So you just what are you doing? Explain to me what you're doing right now.
All right. Well, I know we spoke to the Owlbear originally, and he wasn't sure. Is it he or is she? I can't remember.
I think it's a she.
All right. So she couldn't. I can't remember if she said that she thought her mum had died or if she just lost her.
You got the impression. It sounded like the Malorite orcs that you encountered, who had also they had that gelatinous cube in a pit,
Mm-hmm.
and they had accosted Terry, but Terry escaped and ran away, and then fell into the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
You got the impression that those orcs were trying to hunt this Owlbear's mom, and they did injure her mom, definitely. But Sprinkle, the little baby owlbear, ran away without seeing exactly what the fate was of this mama owlbear. I don't think, I can't remember if there was anything anything nefariously owlbear related back at the Malorite camp when you were there.
All right. The only thing I'm bothered about is I don't think, well, she's probably not going to be adult for a bit longer, but she's obviously too big, and Joanna doesn't know what the chuff she's doing half the time anyway. I'm concerned about leaving Sprinkles here. So I don't know whether we spend a couple of hours maybe trying to find her mum in the forest, or we ask her if she wants to come with us. That's my thinking.
Pet owlbear.
Well, I did think that. I'm now thinking I should have been a druid.
Well, I've got between you speak with animals and my animal friendship. I mean,
Yeah, I mean I'm just thinking she could be handy.
Yeah.
It means it takes her away from living in a bloody inn.
See,
and
she says the first thing she says when you have speak with animals up is that she's quick to assure you that she poops real good now outside only.
Sprinkles, I have full faith in your abilities to know what to do and where to poop.
I do too.
I'm gonna sort of like crouch down so that I'm, right in front of her and just say, look, are you happy here? Because it doesn't seem like the best place for you. You're not a pet. You are obviously when you become an adult, you're going to be a proud owlbear. Strong, intelligent. I don't know if we can find your mother for you, but I am wondering if you would like to travel with us and maybe, we might come across her. We might find another clan of owlbears that you could join. It's just something that's occurred to me. I just don't think that living in this inn is a very good idea because you are obviously going to get quite a lot larger as you grow up.
I am?
Oh yeah, you're going to get very large, very strong.
Oh. Well, I don't know if I want to go back to the forest because, well, I don't know if my mom is there, but the forest is scary. Or it was scary when I was there before.
And I can understand you thinking that.
I don't think I'm big enough to go back. I'm not brave enough to go back. Not yet.
Okay, but would you like to at some point? Would you like to obviously become, you don't, I'm assuming you don't want to be a pet and live with Joanna for the rest of your life.
Well, Joanna's nice, but will you teach me how to be brave?
Yes, we all will.
After a pause, yeah, okay, we can do that.
I'm trying to think how you teach someone to be brave, but
if I
sure.
learn how to be brave and I learn how to be big, then maybe I can go back in the forest and I can find my mom.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it would be really nice if you could find your mum again and go join her.
Eat some orcs.
That is a really good
It's
idea.
a good idea. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yep.
In that case, would you like to travel with us?
Are you going somewhere? You're leaving?
Yes, we're leaving tomorrow.
Oh,
So would you like to come with us and see the world and get brave?
is Johanna coming?
No.
Oh,
And
I believe
honestly,
so.
Terry's coming.
is Terry coming? Well, you're all my friends. Well, you're my friend.
But
And
if you want
Terry's
to,
my friend.
if you want to stay with Joanna, that's
And
fine. But
Yelena's my friend. And Kai has all that paper that I like to pee on.
No peeing on the paper.
If you're all
if we can't find her, we know where she'll be.
If you're all leaving, I mean, I'd be with a whole lot of friends, right? I'd miss Johanna, though.
But it's up to you. I just thought you might want to.
Are you ever coming back here?
It's a good question.
Like, I wouldn't mind leaving if I thought it wasn't forever.
Oh, assuming we'd have to come back this way to go to wherever the Emerald Enclave is.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Sure. We swing back by here.
But yeah. And we could probably swing around even if we had to go somewhere else. We could swing back here first, couldn't we? So yeah, it's likely we will come back this way at some point.
Okay!
Yay!
That sounds like a and the speak with animals expires.
Okay. All right. So how big is she at the moment?
She's midland size. She's like half. Like she's just on the cusp of becoming large. So she's about your height.
Okay. And there's an armourer. The village, yeah.
There is an armor in the village. There's Loranda Smithborn's place. The Nectar of the Goods and Sundry is the formal name of the journal store blacksmith.
Okay.
It's where you got your bubble bath.
Yeah, I'd like to swing by the armor and see if I can get a light chainmail vest adapted for the owlbear, just for an extra bit of protection for her.
Some kind of barding.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me not Google, but the Fantasy Grounds equivalent of Google an item.
Okay. Is it all right if we take a quick break?
Yes, it is actually precisely the time that we need to go to the little adventurers room and take a break.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so while we were doing this, I might replay that summary video of last session while we take a break and reconvene in 10 minutes or so.
Yes.
Sounds good.
It won't play the whole video, but it'll be just enough to confuse all 2.3 people who are watching.
It was a great video and I really enjoyed it, so.
Whee!
All right, back in a bit.
This is going to serve as the archive of session 3 of Help in the High Forest. Why the 2.8 of you who follow this campaign might ask? Because I, Bonnie Bew, pooched the screw. I didn't do a sound check before we started recording in the last session, so all I have is a video with no explanation of what is actually happening. It's super riveting. It's really great. Just like watching paint dry. But Bonnie, you may ask, all 2.8 of you, did you not stream this game on Twitch? Why did no one tell you there was no sound? Well, I will explain. Not only did I forget to do a sound check in OBS before the game, I left the AFK screen up on the stream for the first half of the game. So anybody who came by the stream would have thought we hadn't started forever. The reason I record my D&D sessions in the first place is so I can take notes from that afterwards. I am so slow at writing down things. I feel like the game goes on pause when I'm scribbling deets in my notebook. And when you're playing online, I find I need to warn the players that I'm writing or typing something down when I do it in game because the lingering silence freaks them out that I've like disconnected or they've disconnected or everybody's disconnected. Online TTRPG players who aren't using cameras we're like in a constant state of paranoia that something has gone horribly wrong with our technology. And to be fair, if things like Discord or OBS weren't so fiddly faddly and prone to blanking out your audio source once a month, so your session recording actually doesn't have sound when you forget to do a sound check, maybe there wouldn't be panic at every 5-second pause in a D&D game online. Likewise, I'm not one of those DMs who just remembers exactly what happens and can make notes of the pertinent highlights after the fact. I mean, if you've watched or played in any of my games, you know my memory has failures all the time, whether I just have like this mental block of like a particular word, or like my brain's RAM hasn't had the 30 seconds or whatever it needs to retrieve that piece of information from the winding halls of the trivia spaghetti that is archived in my noggin. So, I mean, in the best of situations, I'm a mess. But okay, enough of me going on about technical failures. What the hell happened in session 3? Well, as best as I can remember, there wasn't much housekeeping before we started playing, which was actually inconvenient because Rach was having computer problems. She and Grim had just gotten back from holiday, and Windows Update was having its wicked way processing things interminably upon startup of her computer. So instead of using the usual catchphrase, which is like, if we're all physically, if not emotionally prepared, which is like the cue for us to start really like actually playing in earnest, or at least doing the recap of the previous session. That time started out laughing about we were neither physically nor emotionally prepared for the game. I mean, at the time I didn't know how true that was, but it was like so very true. But I remember that was exceptional. That was exceptional. I actually remember that part. But there wasn't any problem with Rach not being able to get in the game right away because we'd left on a cliffhanger. We were still in Honeyfest. Oh God, still in Honeyfest. Yelena had snuck out of the VIP tent to tail Lady Belliphauna Than's midnight meetup with Sean the Hermit at Sean's rest hut. The party was effectively split because Terel was sleeping through everything, and Kai, though awake, hadn't decided to get out of his cozy bed yet. Yelena had fumbled sneaking at the end of session 2. She'd rolled a natural 1 once she got to the rest hut tent. And with the people inside the rest hut alerted with noise that there might be somebody else around, I had Yelena, Sean, and Belliphauna all roll initiative to see who got to react to the sound or the possibility of company, and what order. Yelena, luckily, though, came in first in the order, so she successfully dashed around the side of the rest hut before anybody looked out the front and caught her. Yelena then proceeded to listen as Sean and Belliphauna continued to have their encounter. It turns out Belliphauna was trying to sell a pair of wyvern eggs to the wizard to raise money for rebuilding Parnast. But Sean the Hermit shortchanges her by 90%, making her a bit upset. Sean the Hermit says something at some point before things escalate, that he's on a righteous quest, and if he survives, he'll repay her one day, and then he proceeds to peace out by dropping the illusion of his rest hut tent. At this point, Elena's cover is blown. They're just like in this clearing with like some leftover actual physical pillows lying around on the ground. Sean decides he's going to steal any wyvern poison or any wyvern related products Belliphauna might still have on her to go with the eggs that he's taking, since, these are powerful alchemical reagents. So Sean proceeds to cast Control Winds to basically manage the people in front of him, intending for the downdraft of the spell to subdue everyone. But it only worked on Yelena. Yelena continues to regret getting out of bed for this. Now, over the course of this encounter, Belliphauna proved stupidly competent given that she's like a level 1 druid. It's like I was only rolling 19s and 20s for this NPC. Going into this, I was a little worried that I might get Belliphauna killed and I just have to scrap the NPC and figure out something else to do with this whole Parnast journey. So I had like a backup plan for going to Parnast, which did get deployed. But no, she saves against the high-level wizard spell twice, and then she whomps him with like a sling bullet during combat at disadvantage. Like this is David versus Goliath. I mean, that wasn't meant to happen. Given that Belliphauna is rolling really well, Sean abandons the plan to rummage her pockets for poison. He hasn't gotten her like prone on the ground. Sean gives up, starts to fly away, making his escape. Since he doesn't want any more bullets in his face, he throws an air elemental gem down at Yelena and Belliphauna to occupy them. And he drops the wind spell so he can focus on leaving. Because the wind is gone, Yelena starts to get some of her own back. First, she gets to stand up. Second, she has a bow of far distance, so the Aarakocra wizard is nowhere near out of range, even if he's dash flying away. That sucker, I think it went up to like 1,200 feet or something. I mean, like more than we would ever represent on a map. So she was going to be able to get some like frustrated, why am I not sleeping revenge. By this point, Terel has been awoken by the wind, and Kai is ready for action, but there's a problem. They can only see themselves on the battle map in Fantasy Grounds. It takes me way too long to figure out that that's because I'd added line of sight to this map. They couldn't see anything because they were inside the VIP tent. I mean, yeah, this is realistic tent physics, I grant you, but in the moment, frustrating for the players and disruptive to the action. So, yay, line of sight technology. The party does a lot of damage as Sean the Hermit is trying to fly away. Yelena gets a natural 20 off, and she makes him drop one of the stolen wyvern eggs. It's revealed at this point that Lady Belliphauna has an actual wyvern traveling with her in secret. I think I mentioned that the wyvern's name, it's like a pet, and its name is Euphoria. Maybe I didn't mention that, and if I didn't mention it, well, you'll never catch me now because, I don't have any proof. But that's what it is. And the wyvern, dashes on the scene, catches the egg before it falls and crashes to the ground, probably being destroyed. The party learns that the dragon cult that controlled Parnast before Lady Belliphauna arrived had domesticated a set of wyverns, and the cultists used these creatures to fly between Parnast and the flying castle that was one of their strongholds. And after the cult was defeated, the domesticated wyverns stayed in the area. It's what they'd been taught. The party also learned that Lady Bellifauna's mother had been a soldier with the Waterdeep Cavalry, which is renowned for flying on griffins. This is why instead of wanting to hire adventurers to get rid of the domesticated wyverns in Parnast when she found them, Belliphauna thought trying to fly on one of them was a really great idea instead of certain death. But, back to the action again. Yelena takes some damage from the air elemental that Sean had summoned, but Terel practically drops it in a single blow between a critical hit and a resounding smite. Sean the Hermit eventually goes invisible to make his escape, and the party kind of tables this as someone they'll maybe have to reckon with down the line. Maybe, probably, maybe, kinda. I don't know. Fast forward, everybody gets a long rest, and then it's breakfast the next morning. A red squirrel pops into the VIP tent with a letter for Yelena from the Emerald Enclave. Blossom Snowbeetle, the Winter Warden in Undercliff who dispatched Yelena and Terel to Ruchevert in the first place, wants them to pick up a statue of Angarad. Kim knows how to say this. Anyway, Angarad, that's what I'm going with. The elven goddess associated with spring. And they're supposed to pick up the statue from the Elkhorn Emporium in Succumber and deliver it to Chandra's store at the Shrine of Axes in Parnast. The party checks in with Belliphauna that the caravan to Parnast will be stopping by Succumber. It is. Hearing Belliphauna muse about selling the remaining wyvern egg for her Build Back Better fund, Her options are Acquisitions Incorporated, which B dismisses as their offer was lowball, and whoever is responsible is pretty cheap. And a wizard in Succumber, known for being eccentric, the party kind of wants to intervene in any more of these storylines and decides to send a note back with a squirrel to inquire if the Emerald Enclave would be interested in buying a wyvern egg. They check with B. Belliphauna seems very happy with this idea as long as her name can be kept out of the transaction. So letter goes back with the squirrel. And I think the squirrel's name was Tony. So if that matters, maybe Tony will show up again. I should note Blossom Snow Beetle's stationery was decorated with the image of a squirrel chasing snowflakes, which Terel says might be her next tattoo. I think this was a joke. I don't know. That might have been Grim saying it. And I'm pretty sure she was joking. But still, I do remember that. De facto town leader of Ruchevert, Arbiter Drusel, he drops by and he mentions that not only did Sean the Hermit skip out before the last day of Honeyfest, the Sweet Tent, which Kai knows had drugs and a gambling den in the back, and the Fungeon, which the party hadn't visited, and the pet stall where Yelena had gotten a pet rock, all of those left town overnight as well. Finally, it was time for the party to judge the beautiful baby contest. So we took a little adventurous break at that point. Suddenly, hey, we have images of the game now because I taken off the AFK screen. And as part of the Beautiful Baby contest, everybody did 5 animal handling checks for the babies that they, well, handled because babies are mammals, animals. Yeah. If that didn't go well, there was usually some kind of saving throw situation to avoid the most insidious infant attacks. Terel did not have a great experience. Terel was kicked and punched and puked on and narrowly avoided getting poop on her armor. Really, Terrell's toughest adversary so far in the campaign is babies. Terrell also startled Terry's piglet little Porky, who would have likely won the contest had he not run away and been disqualified. God, poor little Porky. Poor Terry. We also had Boy Baby, Human Baby in a creepy pageant wig and makeup, Cranky Halfling Baby, Human Baby who looks like Wallace Shawn, Half Elf Baby who smells like Yelena, Dwarf Baby, Baby polymorphed into a baby giraffe at the Make Your Own Potion booth, Bedhead Human Baby in a crochet elephant cosplay who peed on Lord Jomont Shieldbrar, a Human Baby who likes to click her tongue, so cute, that's my favorite, Chill Halfling Baby, Dwarf Twins who snotted on Kai, Baby Goblin who bit Lady Belliphauna, and Gnome Baby who had an exploding turnip, but everybody rolled really well and survived unscathed. I should also note that Dwarf Baby had a pet rock, which Yelena noticed had a symbol on it that was missing from her own pet rock. Yelena used sleight of hand to do a bait and switch to trade pet rocks. Dwarf Baby was cool with it. The party awarded the Beautiful Baby crown to Miss Kathy Jansen, the gnome baby who didn't explode them. And the runner-up sash went to Pram Broombent, the halfling baby with a resting cry face. Huzzah! Yay, baby contest! I am sure this is everything Gary Gygax dreamed D&D could be. Oh, well, end of baby contest. That was pretty much the end of the session. Gosh. Oh, there was a thing where Lady Belliphauna mentioned that she'd sold a lot of her fancy gowns to raise funds to rebuild Parnast, build back better. And she tried to sell some of her jewelry, and that the vendor of the jewelry stall hadn't been interested earlier during the festival. But then at the end of the baby contest, this vendor approaches Belliphauna to say that he would like to purchase some of her jewelry after all. And as everyone was leaving the contest pavilion, someone in the party, I can't remember who, but I want to say it was Yelena or Kai because Terel didn't roll so well most of the session. Somebody noticed some meaningful looks between the jewelry vendor and Lord Jomont. And the party immediately became super suspicious. Like, I don't think anyone framed the nature of their suspicions, so maybe that's next session, because I'm not quite sure what's going on in their heads, like what they think the situation really is. And I'm not saying that there wasn't something going on. This isn't like the Raffle situation where they kind of did go in a direction I wasn't totally expecting. But it was cool. This is more like I don't know what's going on in their minds. I don't know what you're thinking, players. I hope one day I find out. Session 4, I swear to God, will have sound. I swear by Baby Bowie, it will have sound. And we are absolutely going to finish Honeyfest. And maybe hit the road to Parnast? First stop Succumber? I hope so. We're going to just breeze by Owlbear. Well, we don't have time for Owlbear at this point. Like, screw Owlbear. It's dead to me. Next session, we will definitely start out with wrapping up Honeyfest, which basically will include the Tug of War Final. We'll see if Terel is Tug of War champion. And then we will also need to see who wins the winged boots at the raffle drawing. And then Honeyfest will be done and dusted, and we can the party can start moving on to anything that they want to do in Ruchevert before the caravan to Parnast hits the road. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening to this really crappy summary of what happened in session 3 of Help in the High Forest. And I hope I will officially come back from break. I think we're back from break.
It works for me.
Sounds like it. Yep.
Are we back from break? Are we physically, if not emotionally, prepared again?
Let's do it.
I think I have the sound back. Yes, I do. Oh my God, we have sound. Oh, this is amazing. This is what people do. They talk and they're recorded. Their voices are heard. Okay. I think there's something I was supposed to look up that I didn't look up. I got so obsessed about barding and what that is and how it works that I completely forgot to do any of the other things that I might have been planning to do during the break. But you know,
Sorry.
that's just me. That's how my brain works. So like chain barding would be 200 gold for the Owlbear for Sprinkle.
Okay. I don't think I've got that much anyway. So how much would it be for leather?
For leather, it would be 40.
40 is definitely doable.
How much for the chain?
How much for what?
The chain armor?
200.
200 gold pieces.
I've got 10 platinum pieces.
I've got 20 platinum pieces.
That's more than 200 gold. That's
Exactly.
like 300 gold. That's money.
We could all. I've got 21 platinum pieces, so we could all chip in a.
And get some chain.
Basically, you're rich. You guys have been hoarding money, and you haven't spent any.
Look, there's only so much money you can spend on soap.
How much platinum equals gold? Is it
10?
10. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, chain barding would be 20 platinum.
So I can donate 5.
All right. Well, if I do 10 and you guys do 5 each, I don't mind taking the bulk of it.
Sure.
You got yourselves an armored Owlbear.
Nice.
Sorted. Right, knocked 10 off my plat.
I've knocked 5 off.
This is me having not planned for Sprinkle to become a party member.
Sorry. I did think it might.
That's how it's supposed to work.
That's totally fine. I named her Sprinkles. Okay, Sprinkles. And then here's another thing. I think Sprinkles is something that came out to my mind like in the heat of the moment during whatever. So if you wanted to actually start calling this Owlbear something different, like if she has a true name or something.
Well, does she have a true name? Does she know what her name is?
Let's assume that like Sprinkles is just what Johanna called her because she was peeing inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people were calling her because, yeah, she was.
Yeah, she
was
peed inside.
She was an indoor tinkler. Let's be honest. Up until she had like a moment of truth and some talking to by one of you, I think it was you, Terel, telling her that, hey, you can't go weeing inside. You gotta like go out to the outhouse. You gotta do your business there. There's a time and a place for everything. And she listened and she idolized you, and bonds were formed. But like she's not Sprinkles anymore because she doesn't pee inside anymore unless there's like really good paper in Kai's room.
No peeing on the paper.
Then it's a little bit tempting, but like she's trying really hard to like not do that because she knows. But she's not so much Sprinkles anymore. So if that's not the name that like really fits her, it can be changed.
All right, well, let's see how it goes.
It's not locked in.
Yeah, someone might come to us while we're traveling, or she might remember what her name was, or
Is anyone currently wearing chain armor?
Ooh, what am I wearing?
Never mind. I have the player's handbook open to that page. Why do I need to not look it up?
I have chainmail armor.
It's 13 plus Dex modifier max 2. I was just looking to see what I need to increase the Owlbear's armor by.
Okay.
She has 13 as her natural armor. So wearing chainmail, it's going to be 17.
Nice.
I'm making a note of that. Woofna. She's a pretty big baby. I have her already marked as large, but like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I've just looked up
Whatever.
Owlbear's stats, and it says a full-grown owlbear is 8 foot tall.
Standing up on its hind legs, or just standing?
So like,
just standing.
Oh god.
Her size and her hit points are a little bit inflated right now, okay, but that just means I won't change it really much in the future. Because technically she should be medium right now. But let me drag. Who should I drag her to? Do you, Terel or Yelena? Do you want to be in charge? I assume Kai doesn't want to be in charge of the Owlbear because of
Paper.
Kai.
Peeing on the paper. No, thank you.
There's some adversarial relationship there. There's a dynamic.
Yeah, she's lovely Owlbear, whatever, but no, not near the paper.
We can go either way.
Who wants to be responsible for the Owlbear in case the Owlbear is ever in combat?
Well, Terel, it were your idea for the Owlbear to
And
come.
Terel is the one who can speak with the Owlbear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to land
Yelena's
with
on
you.
good. Yelena's on good terms. They're buddies, but like.
I can talk to her. Go on. Yeah, sure.
All right, so I'm dragging the Owlbear to you.
You can talk. I can handle and be friendly.
If all happens to me, you look after her.
Okay, so you have an Owlbear who's got like a chain, like there's like this chain kind of helmet, and like this is kind of a rush job. Like Loranda had to like drop everything and spend the entire day to kind of adjust some chainmail suits that she already had in stock to fit Sprinkles. And the Owlbear had to like go into the general store and have a fitting. It was like really weird, and it was like kind of surreal having an Owlbear like getting a fitting for armor. And so Loranda's like draping like 4 different suits of 4 different chain shirts over the Owlbear, and like gradually figures out how it should fit and how to accommodate for the wings. And so now you have like this Owlbear has a little bit of like a chain patch on her skull cap, and it like reaches down her spine and around her belly, shielding all the most important parts while keeping her wings and her claws free for movement, while she still like retains that agility and ability to get around. And
fantastic.
She's like romping through town in her new chainmail barding and looking pretty proud of herself. And of course, there's also a style to accommodate her namesake, the Sprinkles. So she has no problem keeping it clean so far. I assume you approve, Terel.
I do.
It's very important. Like Terel is very emphatic. Please make this armor, this barding, hygienic
Yes, must be cleanable.
Please, please. Very important. Number one priority. And Loranda, she listened. She delivered to her customer.
Excellent.
So there was a lot of time for that. At one point, while you're waiting for Loranda to finish piecing together the barding, you're hanging around the general store. Yelena has gotten her extra arrows. Kai, is there anything that you're looking to purchase?
I really do not know.
There's nothing especially arcane here. I mean, the only things that are magical are pretty mundane, like the bubble potion, the bath potion.
Mm. No.
Very
I don't-
lightweight. I mean, there is some paper for sale here.
Paper. Have I got any paper that's not been peed on?
There's some fresh. So you can get some. You can get some parchment. You can get a little bit of ink, a little bit of incense. You know, basic arcane supplies, but
Mm.
nothing very exotic.
No. No, I don't think I need to get anything really.
Just basic hedge wizard kind of stuff.
Mm.
I realized as I tried to say the word wizard and fail miserably that I've had 2 Manhattans and the toll has been taken.
Oh god, turning Bonnie into a daytime drinker.
Yay, D&D. It's like
Yay.
it's like the only time in the month basically that I drink is during D&D, during a D&D session.
Drinking and dragons.
Yeah, drinking and dragons.
Oh yes.
Unless I'm playing D&D or unless I'm going out to a restaurant with people, I don't drink.
Gosh.
So you catch me at my best. God, what were we doing? Okay, so Kai doesn't really have anything that you're interested in buying. Yelena's gotten her arrows. Terel's gotten the barding. There's a drinking dragon in
Yep.
Discord. Oh, I know what I was getting around to. Terry finds you. Yep.
Yay.
It's the afternoon. Terry stumbles into the Nectar of the Goods and Sundry. That was me remembering what the name of the general store was. That pause. I could literally hear my brain work. It's so awesome when it happens. Oh, let me also. I'm dragging Sprinkles somewhere where I can find Sprinkles again. Okay. When Terry stumbles in, it's getting to be the afternoon of the free day you had, and he looks okay. He's a bit, how Terry is. You know Terry. Old Terry.
Mm.
You've had enough, encounters with Terry now that you know how he works. And he arrives, and it's like a disaster is about to strike, but has been narrowly averted. That's basically the vibe every time he enters the room. And he gets there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey Kai, buddy, there you are.
Hi. Are you all right, Terry?
It's great. I did what I needed to do. I poisoned the
Oh, yeah.
pickable.
And did it work?
It was shriveling. Is that what it's supposed to do? God, I hope I didn't get it wrong.
No, I think that's what's supposed to happen, isn't it?
It shriveled the pickable. I think.
Well, this is a put. Never mind.
Yeah, that's good, Terry.
Whew. Man, for a second there, you had me thinking I'd screwed up again. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm burning my bridges here at Ruchevert, and people are starting to look at me funny, because I keep messing up.
No. Well, are you going on some travels with a lady and her traveling caravan?
Oh, you mean Lady B? I was talking to Lady B. She seems pretty okay. She's not as fancy. She's not super fancy. So, I wasn't super nervous, so I talked to her,
Yeah, that's good. Are you going with her?
Well, she asked, And I'm thinking maybe it's a good idea. What do you think? Because I keep messing up here.
Mm.
I keep getting myself into problems,
Yeah, it might be.
situations.
Yeah, it might be a good idea just to have a break from, or give the people of Ruchevert a break from
Yeah, I was thinking like
From
maybe.
you.
from Terry. Let them have a break from Terry for a bit.
See, here's the thing. Lady B, she said that I could take the pigs with me, so I don't have to leave the pigs behind. They're my buds, I mean, after you, Kai, the pigs are my best buds, right?
Right, but is there somebody who can look after the pigs?
Well, no, like I'm bringing the pigs along.
Oh, you're bringing the pigs along. I'm sorry, I thought you said you weren't
Yeah,
bringing the
I mean, I
pigs.
wouldn't want to leave them. I mean, I couldn't leave them behind, Kai. As much as I like you, bud. As much as I like you, bud. I mean, you're
How
my
many
friend.
pigs have you got? How many pigs have you got, Terry?
Well, right now, well, I sold off a bunch, during the festival because, it's the season, it's high harvest tide, it's like, well, we don't talk about it, but, at a certain point in time, you can't keep all the pigs you have. You got to, like, allocate for winter and spring.
Yes,
I'm
so how many
pretty,
pigs have you got left, Terry?
few. 50?
50
Maybe 50
pigs.
pigs.
30
you
to
bringing
50.
them?
Some of them are little. Some of them are really little and cute. They like practically fit in a pocket or a satchel. Like Yelena's vest. You could probably fit a baby pig in her vest. Maybe it's too
Good
big.
Lord. So what's your plan of looking after all these pigs on the trip, Terry?
Kai.
What? Just
Kai.
checking you've got it all worked out.
I am a professional pig wrangler. I'm pretty
Oh.
sure I'm speaking with a different voice than Terry has ever spoken with before.
With authority. This is his wheelhouse, so to speak.
Kai, I know pigs. Pigs. They're what I do. They are my ichigiri. Not that that is a language that is recognized in the Forgotten Realms. They are my ichigiri.
Okay. Okay, Terry. That's fine.
I got no problem taking care of pigs. It's what I do. It's my
And you
profession.
can right, okay. So you can take care of your pigs and Lady B's cows and whatever else she's purchased.
Well, that the guy. I mean, he works for oh god, I think maybe the Green Grows or somebody. I don't know. He works here. He's real skinny, like skinny half the guy. He's abnormally tall. Uh, Noodles Fabian. You know that guy. Noodles Fabian. Noodles. You He gets nervous.
do?
He turns into a snake or an earthworm or something. Something really skinny like a ferret.
Have we come across this person before?
You have. He's like somebody who's been peripheral. Like, yeah, like maybe you know who he's talking about, but maybe
Okay.
not. Like, whatever. Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Kai has more of an idea that, like, yeah, Noodles Fabian. You know who Noodles Fabian is.
Okay.
But Yelena and Terel, like, absolutely. I mean, you could roll for it.
What we rolling?
What would be rolling?
I'm trying to think. Whether history or insight. Those are both intelligence checks, right? Intelligence skills.
Wisdom is insight is wisdom, which I would be better
So
at.
you can roll either insight or history,
All of
whichever
us.
is best for you.
Very good.
All right.
That was
Oh, bloody hell, and Kai sticking with the high rolls.
Kai, you already knew who he was because of your association with Ruchevert for so many months. You could always pick Noodles Fabian out of a lineup. But Terel has no clue who this guy is. But Yelena, from the description of like a really tall and like an unnaturally tall halfling who's very skinny and like who like wild shapes when he's nervous. You're like, oh yeah, I think I've seen that guy. I think I've run into him while we were here.
Okay, so how tall is an abnormally tall halfling?
He's about 5 feet tall. He's about 5 feet tall, very skinny, very lanky. He kind of like looks like Gomer Pyle, like Jim Neighbors, but like short Jim Neighbors, but tall halfling. gym neighbors. And he speaks with a similar, like, golly kind of expression. And you know that he was a farmhand for one of the farms on the west side of town. And so he's used to working with animals. And he's going to be charged with being the main person who is rustling and animal handling the cattle and goats that Lady Belliphauna is purchasing today. And giving her advice about, the horses, the cows, the goats, the llamas. I mean, I don't know what she's buying. I mean, what do you buy? What livestock? The whole cavalcade of livestock that a village could need. I guess she's buying it today.
And we've got an owlbear too. So
And now you have an owlbear. Nobody knows. Nobody knows an owlbear is coming. There's a secret wyvern flying around somewhere, and
this is not going to be a stealth mission.
Terry's
Is what you're saying.
Oh, it is. It was always going to be a caravan, and I don't think any caravan is completely stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that Dua Lipa song about like sleeping cocaine. Caravan and stealth, they just don't go together.
Yep.
So yeah, you're gonna have like what, 50 pigs, whatever number of cows and horses and goats and llamas that.
Well, this is a good argument that having the owlbear is probably a good thing because
it's another guard.
Very
it's
large
another
sheepdog.
guard. Probably put out. Well, if it doesn't scare the livestock, put out an odor that'll scare maybe other predators.
Scare off other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Give the entry-level bandits on the road second thoughts about approaching the party, trying their luck. Yeah, it's your guard owlbear. It's like an Alsatian, but really big. So like Terry was talking to you, and I think Terry's like, so what do you think, Kai? Kai, do you think I, am I going crazy? Am I just like being impulsive? Because Lady B says there's opportunities, like that a lot of people left their farms and left their houses, because of all those cults and the castle crashing down and stuff. But like they're rebuilding, and so there's opportunities to find a new place. And I feel like I've kind of, burnt some bridges here in Ruchevert.
Fresh start.
Yeah.
And all that, Terry. Yeah, it's a good idea. It is.
I was thinking first. You think it's a good idea? I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy at all. And lots of benefits to having a change and all that.
A change is as good as a rest or something.
Absolutely.
I
and you'll have your
appreciate.
pigs with you.
Well, yeah, I couldn't leave the pigs behind. You know me, Kai. Pigs are life. And we could keep on gambling on the road. It'll be great.
Yeah. Have you made some money, didn't you? During the Honeyfest.
Oh my God, did you see that? I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I kind of knew I would dominate the bee race when I brought in Stang the Conqueror, because he's a brutal bee. All right, he's a brutal bee, and I thought, odds even that I was going to get disqualified for violence. But hey, Stang the Conqueror, he pulled it out. I won the race, and I'm 20 gold richer, Kai.
Yeah, ka-ching.
What a life.
Yeah, we'll be gambling on the road, but you will.
I was just going to say, Terel leans over and whispers in Kai's ear, at least give him a day before you fleece him.
Well, my dice rolls are pretty good today, so I need to get on it.
Well, I appreciate your counsel, Kai. You're like my best bud. I knew you wouldn't steer me wrong.
Terel leans over again and says, see, don't you feel bad?
I wouldn't fleece him. I'll look after him. You look after the owlbear, I'll look after Terry.
Terel just walks off, muttering to herself.
Well, I'll see you in the morning, bud.
Yeah, see you in the morning, Terry.
Yeah, Owlbear's looking sharp. And it gives everybody a thumbs up as he like kind of backs out of the blacksmith shop. So you've gotten your barding for your owlbear. It's tea time.
So we need to go to Drusel's.
Yeah, Drusel's giving you an
Oh, yeah.
invite. You want to show up?
Hmm?
I mean, I guess you could ghost Drusel. I mean, it's your choice. It's your life.
I think we do a quick drop in.
Yeah.
So you knock on Drusel's door. As you walk from the blacksmith's, and you're walking around town, for the first time, Yelena, you notice that the statue of a bee, like the big giant bronze statue that is the center of town, and it has like a little grassy surround to the plinth of the statue. Compared to when you and Terel first arrived, it has changed. It now has like a little sign and a little bit of fencing around the statue, and the sign says "Keep off the grass." You're not quite sure when they put that in, but at some point since you arrived in town, that's happened. And then you head towards Drusel's house, knock on the cottage as usual. And you hear this one coming from inside. And it doesn't take very long before Drusel's answering the door. Welcome, friends. I'm so glad you decided to take me up on my invitation. Come in, come in, come in, come in, come in. Come in. Come in.
We're in.
I guess we go in.
Like as a reminder, I mean, it's still the same. Like it's a cozy cottage. There's still a bow mounted on the wall. It has not been moved. And like the first time that you entered this cottage a month ago, there is a spread of tea set out on a table, and there's like a little settee that's very comfortable, and chairs, and there's a nice little fire going that's like warm and cozy, and there's all kinds of like orange candies, and there's honey, and there's more of the scones, treats and savories available for you to snack on. And Drusel offers you tea. There is green tea for you, Yelena.
Excellent.
Excellent host is Drusel. And you also see that, like, kind of to the side, because this isn't like some of you have been frequent visitors to this cottage. Like Kai did your alchemist training here.
Mm.
And I think all of you did training here, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
Terel with a healing kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yelena studying poisons, and Kai studying alchemy. So for a period, you were all coming here each day and kind of sitting in this room, and there's a desk off to the side, and there's also a workbench that has like a various and sundry amalgamation of little jars and mortar and pestle and like herbs and substances and chemicals that were for use in different aspects of learning how to use alchemy supplies and the healing kits, as well as poisoning and extracting poisons and things like that. So it's not the first time that you've been set down into this settee in this room and had tea and been there to listen and discuss things with Drusel. It's been a large part that we didn't role play of your time in this town. Oh, I don't know why that tickled me so much, but it did. As you sit down and you're all settled, you had your tea, you've had a chance to nibble on things that you want to nibble on. I don't know if you want to nibble on anything. Have you had lunch?
Well, I'm more concerned about the fact that he keeps feeding us honey cakes. I mean, Terel's not going to be able to fit in her armour anymore if she's not
What?
careful.
Well,
Well,
we're going on a long walk, so you
you
need
are.
the energy.
You're gonna be
True.
time on the road. There's not gonna be any honey cakes on the road, probably.
I might stash a few honey cakes in my bag.
And that does bring to mind that you haven't really there hasn't really been energy put into looking into the road east and what this journey might entail. But
I don't
hey,
know what you're on about. I can see a map right in front of me.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. There is a map right in front of you. Yeah, like say you if you ask like Drusel, the map of the area, he's like, oh yeah, sure, and he will unroll this map of generally where things are supposed to be. But kind of like the very first session we had, I talked about how maps don't necessarily agree about this region of Faerun. It depends on the age of the map and whether the map is pre-spell plague, post-spell plague, and whether it's before or after certain events in land. And some maps might delineate locations and towns and features that have since been destroyed, and something might have replaced them completely, or the names might have changed. I mean, for example, the Forlorn Hills were once called the Fallen Hills. So everything's kind of loosey-goosey where maps are concerned. So this is like one map, one potential in the multiverse of maps. Here again, I'm tickling myself. Thinking about Doctor Strange. Okay. Like you have a map, you dream of a map, and it's like a map that exists in another universe. But like he'll share what he has on hand for like the general area between where you are in Parnast. And you can tell from just the look on the map that it's probably going to take some time to get east to Parnast. I mean, of course, the map doesn't completely describe any obstacles you might encounter along the way, things that might slow travel. But there seems to be like a steady chain of towns that are marked on the map. But Drusel does mention that a lot of the towns to the east have suffered in recent years, and their condition is unknown, or they have been ransacked by recent troubles. So places like Zelbros and Owlbear that I can't pronounce, Lork, all those places have been largely ruined by recent troubles, much like Parnast is in a state needing to rebuild. Whatever you find, these places are likely needing to do that as well. But it does mention that Succumber is probably the largest, most populous town in the region. And after you've had a chance to kind of get into your like cups of tea, your cups of coffee, your scones, or if you're like deciding to be very health conscious and like puritanical and refuse, after you've sat there for a while frowning at the cakes, Drusel,
I won't go that far. I won't frown at the cakes.
Drusel brings up a topic, like, and it seems to kind of, with the way that he approaches it, it seems to be like this is really what he was after with inviting you to tea in the first place. He says, I'd like to approach a topic with you, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of
Well, we're here, yeah.
some of the people, residents of Ruchevert, and some of my rangers, people I know from, well, I knew before Ruchevert existed. The rangers have begun to raise questions about the defenses of the town. They're asking for us to build more palisades, more defenses, fences, watchtowers, and I'm reluctant to do it. Frankly, I wanted Ruchevert to remain pastoral. That was when I found this place. The beauty of it was what made me want to settle roots here. And I feel like fences and palisades and watchtowers they're a blight to the whole operation. It sort of defeats the purpose of Ruchevert being Ruchevert. What do you feel as an outsider? How do you feel about our chances in terms of defense? Should I make changes to the village landscape?
What are the threats to this town that we would know of? Just that.
Because I know there was something going on that we'd overheard or
Yep,
whatever.
hang on.
And
So many rumors.
we
All
were
those
just trying to
rumors.
decide. We were trying to decide whether to tell Drusel that he needed to up his defences because there's something going on somewhere. That I
All
can't
right, so
remember.
I overheard someone saying that parts of the High Forest are overrun with undead.
You know, there's the cult of the Black Earth. At least somebody's
some
Yeah.
cultist has dropped by.
somebody's marking rocks.
Cece, who conned me out of 50 gold and then took my boots, said that her father had beaten up a giant. So yeah, there was a whole bunch of stuff about potential threats to the area. I think those are the ones that I just managed to jot down. Oh yeah, some villages to the east have been raided by gnolls.
So we can tell Drusel that we've heard all this stuff, and it wouldn't be such a bad idea to maybe put some defences in.
Better safe than sorry.
Drusel takes what you say under consideration. And he's very thoughtful about what you say, and he's nodding.
Going in one ear and out the other, then.
Well,
it's just
there still must be some way to build up the town's defenses, because I hear what you're listing, and these are, I think, valid concerns. There must be some way to build up the defenses without the eyesore of palisades and watchtowers. I will have to figure out a way to defend the town without compromising.
okay. So you want to keep it sort of idyllic village type look, but
sustainability of the natural ecology while also being defensive.
Yeah, but I would say that a few ugly palisades are better looking than burnt out village.
That's a very good point.
Just to be blunt about it.
Well,
I am sure that you will come up with a way of making, watchtowers blend. I mean, that would even be beneficial to make the watchtowers blend in with the local forestry areas so that they don't actually look like watchtowers,
Build tree houses or something.
He smiles at that mention of tree houses. Have you been, Kai? You have been in the High Forest, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's where you came from.
Yeah.
Yes, tree houses. That is something there. I think I can work with that. I will devise a way to do this without making Ruchevert like just any old frontier town, retaining its beauty. It's tree houses. That's what we had in the High Forest.
And if you don't want walls, maybe covered pits, things that you can safely cover so that people can come in and out of the village. But then, if there is an attack, you can remove the coverings so that
pits. That's diabolical, Terel. Diabolical. What a mind. Oh. You can see that you're a seasoned soldier. He gets up and he pulls out a piece of parchment and he starts making notes. It's like a moat, but without water.
Mm.
We'll just have
Maybe
to
some
come
wooden stakes in it.
Or
Yes.
you could have a
We just have
moat.
come up with a way so that the villagers know where it is, but enemies don't know where it is.
Yeah.
You could
I
have
mean,
a moat, yeah, with like stakes in it, but have water in it as well. And then if attacks come in, you could drain the moat, and then it, so the moat looks like nice, pretty water in peaceful times or whatever. And then when attack comes, you can drain it, and bam, you've got your stakes, haven't you?
Oh,
Wow.
all of you have really
No idea how.
interesting forms of thinking.
No idea how
Stakes
you
in the
do it.
ground.
This is excellent. Excellent. I can work with all of these ideas. Yes, we will devise a way. This will be excellent. Oh, well, I must hate that you're leaving. Please stay in touch, friends. Please. You performed a tremendous service to this town. I hope you know that.
I'm sure we'll be back this way, Drusel.
I hope you will. I hope you will return to Ruchevert when you complete your work for Lady Than. Bless her heart, she seems to have so many hopes for Parnast. I hope she realizes them. And by the time you return, well, there may be a different look upon the place, but I might also have a few jobs lined up for you by then to help see through the vision for Ruchevert's future. I might need you to go into the High Forest for me. I don't know. I mean, this is just spitballing here. But please do return to Ruchevert when your work is done in Parnast.
We will.
We'll see what we can do. Well, I've promised Sprinkles will come back this way, so.
Oh, Sprinkles. Is that Johanna's owlbear?
She's coming with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's getting a bit big for Joanna.
Does Joanna know?
I haven't told her yet. I was thinking maybe I'd do it in the morning.
Will Joanna remember?
Well, no, probably not. No.
Quick and brutal. I would just very rip the bandage off. That's my only advice. And you're right, Johanna. She might not remember it in the morning, so maybe don't even tell her. Gosh, that might be a good plan. She might just get confused that there ever was an owlbear here in the first place. Honestly,
It's true.
You know Jojo. Well, safe travels to all of you. And again, and he takes the time to deliberately shake the hand of each one of you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Drusel, for the lovely honey cakes.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Kai.
I feel like Yelena stuffed them all in her pocket.
She's got the pockets for it.
She has.
Well, you bid farewell to Drusel.
Mm-hmm.
It's another night. I don't know if there's anything else going on.
Do we tell Joanna now, or do we tell her in the morning before we go? We'll tell her in the morning. We'll tell her in the morning. Then she can't. Yeah.
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 Then no, I ain't got anything else.
No.
So night approaches. Johanna is taking one of the rooms. A lot of people have departed the village, though there are some people still here from out of town. But at least half of the people who were here specifically for Honeyfest have left. So one of the rooms has opened up at the Queen's Rest, and Lady Belliphauna has taken it. Though when the sun rises in the morning, and out of the three of you, I mean, what is your morning routine like?
Well, Terel gets up and does calisthenics for an hour.
And is that with the dawn or before dawn or?
With the dawn.
What about Yelena?
I think she does like some sort of yoga routine.
Sun salutations.
Sun salutations, exactly.
What does Kai do?
Kai's got he likes to do a nice face mask and some chilled eye patches.
Some cucumber slices.
Yep, cucumber slice, and he likes to relax for an hour.
So the normal
Yeah.
Kai stance.
Yep, absolutely.
Kai salutation. Well, it's dawn, and Terel is up doing the calisthenics, running around the inn. The owlbear, Sprinkles, is running right behind you, romping. Technically, I mean, she doesn't have like that soldier's form, but she's definitely like flopping around behind you, following your footsteps. You see, as the sun is rising, Lady Belliphauna comes kind of slinking back to the inn. Apparently, she wasn't there the whole night.
Ah.
All right.
And as you're running, she kind of gives a little wave to you, Terel,
Mhm.
and slinks back into the inn. She was obviously doing something else in the early hours of the morning.
Mhm.
It's morning, you're up. Again, another delicious breakfast. Or at least more delicious than the crap that Johanna was feeding you. And she's running around. Her hair, is going every which way as usual. She doesn't really remember who you are, but she's kind of like, "Hi, welcome to Ruchevert.
Oh dear.
Enjoy your stay."
Thanks.
Well, I'm tempted to try and pass off Sprinkles as my owlbear and then see if she actually remembers.
Mm.
No, I'm just gonna go up to her and say, Joanna, do you remember Sprinkles the owlbear?
Of course, this is the owlbear who lives here. It's my owlbear. I
Wow.
rescued her.
Okay, it's weird how she remembers that.
Well, I mean, it's an owlbear. Do I know you? Do I know you?
Yes, yes. I've
'Cause-
been here for quite a while now.
Well, I mean,
Joanna.
you know my owlbear, so that's what was a hint, because you know the owlbear who lives here, so obviously you're not new.
No, I'm not new. However, I need to let you know that we're leaving today, and Sprinkles is coming with us.
What?
We're not stealing her. We've asked her. She's a wild animal. She can't stay here. She's getting too big for your inn. She's going to cause either injury or damage, and she needs to find her mum. Or she needs to find other owlbears to live with. And I think that we've got a good chance with our travelling to help her find somewhere that she can settle and become, the owlbear that she needs to be.
Joanna raises her hand. It's the calmest and least chaotic you have ever seen Johanna be. And she's like, "It's okay." And then she goes to wherever Sprinkles is, and she walks up to Sprinkles, and she puts her hands up on either side of like Sprinkles' furry, feathery cheeks, and she looks into Sprinkles' eyes. And she says, "Is it true? Do you want to go?" And Sprinkles nods, and Johanna lets out a long, deep breath. And her shoulders fall a little bit.
Oh.
And she says, "Okay, but come back." And she hugs Sprinkles with her full body and all of her heart. And then she turns around and she faces all of you. And she says, I don't really know who any of you people are. But take care of her and bring her back big and strong. That's all I want.
We promise we will look after her.
I understand. She's an owlbear. She needs to owl and bear. And she was never going to be able to do that here. Make her happy. And then
We will.
Johanna kind of gives you guys one last look. And she wanders off. Alone.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Sprinkles runs past you really in a hurry out the front doors. Like, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. But like in owlbear body language.
It was gotta pee, gotta pee, gotta pee.
Yeah.
She squeezed me too tight.
Yeah. Pressure on the bladder. So it is time to congregate in the center of town. The caravan is forming by the bee statue. After maybe an hour past dawn, Lady Belliphauna appears again, like coming down from her room, like, hey, I was there all the time, the whole time. Don't worry about what I was doing.
Yeah.
And she's headed to the center of town towards the bee statue. Is there anything else that you guys need to address, that y'all want to address
I honestly can't think of anything that
before
Terel
we leave
needs to.
Ruchevert?
No, I don't think so. Unless Yelena knows of anything.
I don't think so. I got my arrows. That's what I care about. Pointy thing.
Got my pockets.
Got
Got
my
my
pockets.
poisons.
Got my
My poison.
pocket. Got my
Got my
poet.
my cult rock.
Oh God. No,
Yelena,
honestly,
a simple girl. She's a simple girl.
I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there is, and we'll think of it later, but I can't think of all.
I don't know. We'll hit someplace and maybe they'll have some really cool things to save our money for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the message back to the Emerald Enclave with the squirrel about the egg, and we're waiting
Yeah.
to hear from that. So no, this.
It's only been 2 days since you sent off Tony with
Yeah.
the squirrel mail, so
Had little legs, so.
yeah. How fast can he run? He's got to go like all the way back to like Underhill or something.
Is he a flying squirrel at least?
Undercliff. No, he's like a little red squirrel, like
Oh,
the
so he's looking at
UK special. Yeah. So big ears, fluffy, a little bit stumpy. Unfortunately, I think gray squirrels, as much as they're brutes, they can probably run farther. But no, it's a little cute red squirrel. So yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit of time. I mean, just looking at the map and like the whole mileage distance of places, it's going to take Tony several days, many days, probably at least a 10-day or more to even reach Undercliff, where Blossom Snow Beetle is. And then he has to like this adorable squirrel. It's an adorable squirrel in Discord. Oh my god. Oh, Tony. And then he's got to catch up with you wherever you are on the road. So squirrel. Oh man, I feel bad about gray squirrels now. Okay. Because this is the only squirrels we know here in our state.
We have plenty over here as well, so.
I guess like they invaded. They invaded your country.
They did. They invaded.
And beat up all the red squirrels.
Yep.
Yeah, all the red squirrels run off to Scotland, and we're left with all grey ones down in
well,
England.
Yeah. I mean, that's only sensible. They wanted to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
Who can blame them?
What I think is wild is you don't in the States, in the Northeast, you see black squirrels, which are just basically
they're goth.
Yeah, they're goth gray squirrels. But you don't. I have not seen any of those in the South. I'm just wondering why that is. It's
Southerners.
Southerners.
Yeah.
It's Southerners. We just don't have the space for the goth culture. I think it's like New England is totally, you got the Massachusetts, you got the, what is that?
Yeah, I've seen them in Massachusetts. I've seen them in New York City. It's really wild. Like, and riding in a taxi, it's like, oh, there's one. I mean, you could see it so easily. It's just wild.
Everybody in New York City is wearing black. You got like the Arkham Asylum in Massachusetts or whatever, and Pisatonic University or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why the black squirrels hang out there.
They're Lovecraftian squirrels.
Yeah, the Lovecraftian squirrels. It's totally their vibe. Whereas we get the gray squirrels, they just want like mint juleps and seeds. It's like they want to invade other countries. That's what our squirrels want to do.
And bird feeders.
And bird feeders. Yep. It's crazy to me. I'm going off on a tangent here, but I have like 2 main squirrels that visit my location, and one of them is an evil genius, and he always knows exactly where I put the nuts out for them specifically. And the other one is dumb as a plank, is like the Terry of squirrels. And even though there's like a little picnic table set up completely with seeds and like nuts and a glorious corn cob just for the squirrels, this little asshole is leaping at the bird feeder, trying to get food desperately out of the bird feeder, while like 6 feet away, there's like this smorgasbord of food just sitting out there.
There's
Wow.
always one.
There's always one, and I feel like it's Eunice is what I was calling her, but I swear I need to like start calling her Terry or something because
Terry.
it's the vibe. Like bless her, but God, she's stupid. She's
You know,
just.
I've seen those squirrel feeders that are like the horse's head.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it's a-
that.
Oh yeah, and then the squirrel puts their head up in there, so he's got like a horse's head on the body.
Oh my God. I love squirrels as long as they aren't like in my immediate, like actual physical vicinity. As long as there's glass between me and squirrels, I love squirrels. But okay, that was a tangent.
Yeah,
That was a tangent.
I think they're great. They're cute. We've got a grey one that visits regularly in our back garden.
I haven't seen it for a while though.
No, it's worrying.
It's the heat.
And I saw one red squirrel while we were in Scotland. It ran out in front of us on his walk and ran away as soon as it saw us.
Tony! Performance anxiety.
Possibly.
That's the
Yeah.
squirrel. Oh my God. Okay, so total squirrel tangent. The pictures of squirrels in Discord are adorable, and I love them.
Yeah, cute. Yeah.
But now you're joining the caravan, and as you approach the center of town, you see there are a lot of wagons. Like so many wagons, so many carts. There's not Johanna. There's Lady Belliphauna, and she's directing some stuff. You see Lord Jomont Shieldbriar is there, and he has multiple retainers with him. And from what you can tell, Terel, there seems to be like one guy who looks to be more grizzled, more of a veteran. And I say guy, I don't actually know off the top of my head. Oh yeah, it is a guy. Now that I look at my notes. He is a guy. There's a couple of scouts with him that people who fall more into like Yelena's wheelhouse. They have long bows strapped to their backs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple you can just tell that there are a couple like privates, like general run-of-the-mill entry-level soldiers. They have maybe a little bit of experience, but they aren't the most sage. Probably don't have a lot of experience under their belt, but like they've been trained. And there's like about 4 just regular soldiers. So all in all, Lord Jomont's retinue is like 7 people. He has 2 wagons and several outriding horses. There is. You notice that like out of the scouts, one of them is a half orc, and he's kind of weird. Like he's up on a cart at the moment, and he's like wearing one of those ponchos like hunters or survivalists will wear that have leaves like all over them, or like ground brush kind of tacked on, so that like if he were to like kind of just lay on a hillside, he would blend in.
Okay.
That's like his outfit all the time. So he's like currently sitting on the bench of a cart, but he has like underbrush stuck to his poncho, and he's like a bush sitting on this cart. Next to him, the other scout is a tiefling, and this tiefling, um, their horns curve over the back of her head, and they are very broad at where they begin, and they kind of taper off as they go down her shoulders. And it looks like she's deliberately hollowed them out, and she's using her horns as quivers for arrows.
That seems weird.
Mm.
But she's like one of the scouts, and she also has a longbow strapped to her back. And you can see, I mean, it's kind of like, normally there would be a quiver strapped to her back for arrows. It just puts them up higher because they're in her horns, and there's less of a reach to grab her next arrow.
Mm.
At least that's what Yelena can tell. Yelena being a person who knows arrows and the use thereof. She's like, hey, quicker arrow retrieval. That's kind of cool.
So what shape are her horns? How does that work? She just has little notches in them, and they're just lying in her horns.
Okay, stop pushing to talk.
Yeah, I was about. Oh my God, did I break it?
You broke me. So they're like curving, they curve back, and so you can see like horns kind of going back over her forehead and to like the crown of her head. But at that point, the horns have been hollowed out, and it kind of forms like a vase receptacle kind of thing.
Cool.
And it goes down like in 2 columns down her back, and then taper off. And the horns, the arrows are inside.
Gotcha.
So you just have like the little fletching sticking out the back. So it's just like the quivers that are on your back, only about 6 inches higher.
To each their own.
Yeah. But there is like one kind of veteran amongst Lord Jomont's men. And well, they're not quite as old as you are, Terel. You can tell like from their bearing and their general sense that they're probably a veteran. They have more experience. More of a force to be reckoned with. You don't recognize them.
All right, so I still think they're a mercenary.
Yes, you definitely think that they're a mercenary. There's no one you recognize from your time in Oakshield.
Okay, as an older guy, then you would expect he's a good mercenary.
Yes, you expect it. Some professional that Lord Jomont has hired.
Okay.
And at this point, too, Lord Jomont is more equipped since you're leaving town to travel on the road. Because before, when it was just the festival, he wasn't really wearing a weapon. He wasn't wearing full armor. Now he has on half plates, and you can see that there is a great sword strapped to his back. No shield.
Okay.
Ragnar is also there. He's with Lady Belliphona's new wagons and carts. And when Lady Belliphauna sees you, Ragnar is manning one of the carts. And he gives a nod to all of you guys and welcome. And he's also wearing more armor now than you saw him previously at the tattoo wagon.
Mm-hmm.
But Lady Belliphauna, calls you forward, and she welcomes you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ready for the trip?
I think so. Yes.
I hope we're ready.
Has she clocked the Owlbear yet?
Yeah, I'm just noticing that. I'm also just noticing something else. I just noticed the push to talk stuff isn't working. That's awesome. But okay, I'll worry about that some other time. Nobody can see us push to talk. I don't know what's happening. But are we all in the right channel? What is happening? This is so weird.
You can hear me?
Oh, I can totally hear you. It's the push to talk thing that I added in session 2 to light up when we push to talk, so that like it's like the little fairy lights and
Oh.
stuff. I just realized it's not working. It didn't show up when we joined chat this time. Maybe let me like just try a quick refresh, and if that doesn't work, then we're just gonna have to live with it, or I'm gonna have to live with it. No one can tell who's talking. I hope they can figure out whose voices or what voices at this
Well,
point.
they can work out that the 2 British people is either the wizard or the paladin.
This is true. This is true. Or it might just be a problem with the StreamKit overlay. Like I know that every once in a while there are weird when Discord or OBS doesn't update, something weird can happen. I can't tell. I don't know. I'm really sad about it though, because it's so cute with like the bees and lights and the
Yeah, it looked really good.
and all of your specs and your character whatchamadoodles. Aw, man. Anyway, let's get on. We gotta get stuff done, and the session's almost over. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
What's that? We'll get on this road.
DM just looked at the clock.
let's get on the damn road. Let's leave Ruchevert. Back, focus, Bonnie, focus.
Right, Terel grabs a bag and says, "Look, we're ready to go. Off we go."
She kind of points out the different people, like, because there's a whole bunch of cows and there's a bunch of goats. There's like at least a dozen goats. There's probably, I don't know, 24 cows and steer coming along with. There's Terry and all of his pigs. You know, there's a couple stray llamas or whatever. There's several other extra carts, some of them having supplies and feed and whatnot. You see that Noodles Fabian guy who was helping with the livestock handling. You also see that there is a couple people you vaguely recognize from the village coming along. One of them is a farmer you recognize. Her name is Daisy Brownbank, and her partner. And they're kind of blushing and they're really happy because they're recently engaged. Charmandy Little. And Charmandy, you've only seen her like she was working at the food stalls at Honeyfest serving mead. And you know that she had some kind of like association. She was like working for the meadery in town, for working for Busy Snow Beetle. But they seem really excited, and uh Lady Belliphauna points out that Daisy's been hired because she has skills as a carpenter, but she's looking to take over one of the farms as well. And Charmandy is coming along. But previously, she's only worked really as a barmaid and at the meadery, but she does have skills as a weaver. And Lady Belliphauna says that she's looking to kind of try her hand at breeding silkworms, because they're mulberry trees in the vicinity of Parnast, and she's hoping that Charmandy can help with that. The last person she points out that you have a vague recognition of is Badger Sweeney. And Badger Sweeney isn't a Ruchevert resident, but he is like this dwarf who's been in town, and you know that you heard that he was working at Sidelake for doing some work out there, and he was partying some at the festival. And so you've seen him around. He's a dwarf, and you know there are times, Kai, that he was drinking at the tavern and come regularly before Terel and Yelena arrived in town.
Okay.
Every once in a while he would like join in with you and Terry and some of your gambling and stuff. So while he's not like a really close buddy, you have a vague familiarity with him as just being a itinerant guy who travels just the general area, and you know he has skills as a mason, and he just generally does handiwork
Okay.
going town to town. And then there's some other people that you don't really know. And Lady Belliphauna says that, well, like, there are people leaving town as well today, heading back to their homes. So they're joining with us for the first part of the trek. But as we reach their homes, they'll split off, or once we get to past the Iron Road, they'll head either west, or maybe they'll go as far as Succumber.
Okay.
But the main people who are traveling with you are the people that she mentioned by name.
Okay.
Okay.
So you all like gather together. Everybody's gathered. There's the whole like precautionary pee before the caravan sets out.
Sprinkles, have you been?
Sprinkles, have you been? And there is that moment when Lady Belliphauna like sees the owlbear, and she realizes you're bringing the owlbear with. There's like the split second where she looks like she's ready to protest, but then she pauses and she thinks about her own life choices, and you see her kind of reconcile, because she's like, I'm not one to judge.
I am going to I'm going to like put my hand on Sprinkles and just lean into her and say, please don't eat any of the animals in this caravan. We will hunt food for you, don't worry.
I'm sure she can hunt her own food.
She probably
can she?
Well, can she? She's been looked after by Joanna, so we need to train her.
Yeah. We do. Mm-hmm.
So, but
yeah, she's been given everything by Johanna, so she hasn't had any real training to hunt yet.
Oh, there we go. That was something I should have. This is what I did yesterday when after Drusel, I picked up some supplies for feeding the owlbear, just in case we couldn't hunt anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Could knock off whatever you need. Otherwise,
Lord Chomont also sees this owlbear, and he's you have a pet owlbear.
She's not a pet. She's a friend.
All right. So, I should just give my men warning, yes, to leave the owlbear alone.
If they know what's good for them.
Oh,
yes, please.
Absolutely. Friend of the caravan. No problem. I'm sure it's wonderful, and she'll be sleeping in your tent. Yes?
She'll be sleeping with us, yeah.
Excellent. You hit the road. You start traveling south. It's a bit cumbersome at first because there isn't a well-trodden road. There's not like a formal road. Traveling south out of Ruchevert, it's a very kind of lackadaisical. People have kind of gone this way through the grass a fair amount, so that the grass is pressed down, but there isn't a very recognizable rut in the road of this is the established path. So it's a bit rough going. It's a bit like that rough terrain kind of situation as you first start traveling south. And it takes about twice as long compared to an established road to traverse up until you get to Sidelake. Once you get to Sidelake, a couple caravans branch off, and the total mass of the caravan gets a little bit smaller. You see several wagons drop off there. And compared to the first time that Terel and Yelena passed by the lake when they first arrived to Ruchevert, it's changed a little bit. You see that there's signs of construction happening right now. A stone building construction seems to be underway, and there's like a little banner sign next to the construction that says future site of Sidelake Spa and Resort.
Terel goes, ooh.
This lake still has hot springs. So you can see from the fringes of the lake, there's that warm jets of air and it's bubbling, and you can see people relaxing. You can see they're like halflings by the shore side with towels, but it's a little bit more developed than when you first arrived at Ruchevert, when you were first coming in. So there's more like stands set up, formal tables. There's a few fancy tents that are set up by lakeside that seem to be for like glamping patrons. And at this point, the jeweler who you recognize from Honeyfest was traveling south with you in their own wagon. At this point, they leave the caravan. Uh, do a perception check.
Keep after you for skills. I'm crap at.
I seem to have.
Someone rolled a 20.
Natural 20 from Kai. Oh my gosh. The flaming hot rolls today.
Yeah, I thought it rolled two dice then, but I don't think. Well,
I think you rolled with advantage.
I hadn't clicked on
Well, it
anything
was.
though.
I don't know. It was weird. I think you might.
Take the 20.
Got
the
two.
20.
Everyone
Anyway.
got a 0.
I'm
When he
eating.
came first.
I'm eating a moonshine cherry.
God, we're killing the DM.
Yum. Yum, yum, yum. So Terel notices nothing. Terel, for some reason, is like really annoyed at Lord Jomont, maybe, about even questioning the owlbear. Like, just saying boo about that owlbear put you in a bad mood for some reason.
Tracks.
I mean, Lord Jomont wasn't really aggressive per se, but like, just that he had the audacity to even say anything just set you right off. It was not cool. But Yelena and Kai both noticed that as Jinko Jonas, he pulls his cart off towards Sidelake, there's a little gust of wind, and the tarp that was covering his wagon that was also used to sell jewelry at Honeyfest, it blows up from the wind. And both of you notice that there's nothing in that cart. It's empty. He has no wares. And considering that you saw him buy a bunch of stuff from Lady Belliphauna, it's gone. It's not there. It's not on the cart.
Hmm.
All of you notice. Well, actually, Terel doesn't notice because Terel is
still annoyed.
But you also notice that there, by and large, the traffic is headed south. People departing Ruchevert is the brunt of the traffic on this road. But there are a couple stragglers headed north, and you see one cart pull off into Sidelake. You see them kind of like, there's a cart, and inside the cart, there's like a tiefling, and this tiefling has different kind of horns. We've already talking horns to death today, but this tiefling has horns kind of like a buck, and they jump out of the cart, and there's like two kids with them, and they approach this table by the lake that says check-ins, and the kids are like shrieking and excited, and they're exclaiming about like, I want to go swim, and they're like, hold off, due time. And this tiefling with like the buck horns is, you see them start the whole like check-in process. But before they're finished, you've moved on past Sidelake, and the caravan is just that much smaller. A little bit past Sidelake, a formal road begins. It's more traveled, and you start to approach that city, that place we dare not speak of. That's the next stop on the road. But because the road hasn't been really well worn, it's taking you so long to travel. Before you reach the town that we dare not speak its name, nighttime falls, and you need to camp out for the evening, or it's decided to camp out for the evening, and you're along for the ride.
Okay. So we're partway between Sidelake and Ulevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That part where the road, the formal, like it stops being dotted road and it becomes solid red. You're on that section, but you're before you've reached Ulavan.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
They build a bonfire. Many of the caravans have kind of like set up camp, but there's so many carts and wagons at this point because some people are still traveling on to towns beyond the points you've reached, that they're attached to your formal caravan, that it extends down the road. So many people have camped their wagons or their carts farther along, but like they come to the campfire to get warm and have dinner. There's like a group meal. Anyone who is willing to, when it's dinner time, there is some effort to send people off to forage for additional food, so you're not just eating your supplies.
Hmm.
So you can volunteer to take part in that. Regardless, Lord Jomont will send out the scouts in his retainers to go gather up things. He'll also order a couple of his less experienced soldiers to assist Terry and Noodles Fabian with securing the livestock and guarding them overnight, which they don't seem like terrifically pleased about because it's pretty grunt work, and especially for being like, you know, soldiers, mercenary, being super, they think they're very tough, and they're being sent to like look after the cows. Plus, Jomont gives them orders that they need to obey what Noodles and Terry say.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of like begrudging grunting about that, but they do it.
Um. Can we put some input into? I'm just a bit worried about the fact that the whole caravan is sort of like spread out. Can we get them to like round up? So all the caravans are in like a big circle, even if it's like double ringed, just so that we've got a bit more
With your
protection.
encouragement. And when you say this, Lord Jomont does defer to you. When you say something, he'll be like, okay, this is a good point. And he follows your advice. And there's enough of a caravan, there's enough wagons at this point that they kind of need to do, was it concentric circles?
Yeah.
So there's kind of like it spreads out farther and farther as you go, and they set up a couple of the tents closest to the fire and a couple of the wagons closest to the fire, and then beyond that it gets wider. There are a few outcroppings of rock that are in the way, so it kind of forces some of the other wagons to pitch farther out. But at your advice, Jomont stages some of the soldiers that are left farther out among the circles of wagons and carts to keep watch. And overnight, you're all like invoked to be on at least one shift watch overnight as well. So do a perception check for that.
Okay. Oh, something else I'm not good at. Hey, Kai's suddenly lost it.
Nature is Kai's kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the tavern.
So while Kai's keeping watch, doesn't notice anything. Kai's like, everything's fine. Everything's groovy. Everything's cool. But it's like, it's past midnight. It's going on it's going on, like maybe like witching hour, 3 a.m. And you notice two things. One, and this is what Yelena notices. And Yelena, you're probably like, oh, here we go again. Because you see Lady Belliphauna sneak out of her tent
Oh my god.
as she's going off.
Don't follow her. Don't do it.
She's going off.
I'm like,
Out of the
I
camp.
roll over and go back to sleep. Like, whatever.
Now you see her. Do you say anything? She doesn't see you. She doesn't know that you've clocked her.
Yeah, I'll just say, hey.
Ah,
I,
hey, I need to get quieter boots, don't I?
well, do you need somebody to go with you? Otherwise, I'll leave you be.
Maybe some other time. I'm just checking on Euphoria. Okay, maybe I should have told you this. Euphoria is not traveling directly with the party, right? Because I don't know how all these people are going to respond to a wyvern.
Okay.
So I'm having her fly ahead, kind of scout out, but meet up with me in the early hours of the morning and make sure she's okay. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. If you think you're okay.
You're welcome to come sometime. But you're on watch right now, so this probably isn't a good time to do it.
Okay, what if we were on watch? It's like, well, okay, we're going to find you if we were on watch.
Hi. Hi. You spotted me. You're doing a great job.
Excellent.
You're doing really well.
We've earned our money. Okay.
But I'm
All right.
just gonna check in on Euphoria and then I'll be back.
Do you have a way to signal us if you're in trouble?
Screaming?
I mean, that works.
That'll work. Sure.
Does screaming
sure.
work for you? Okay.
Screaming works.
She gives you a thumbs up.
All right, thumbs up back.
I think it's a plan. I know I don't always think these things through, but I just want to make sure that Euphoria is okay.
Okay, I understand.
And I think I can handle myself. I think. We'll see. She gives another thumbs up. So she continues sneaking off. And then a little bit of time passes. And then you, Yelena, and only Yelena, because Terel doesn't have enough perception to notice anything either. You also notice the rocks to the north of the camp, kind of in between two of the rings of caravan of carts and wagons. You detect a movement. Like there's something moving there.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst the rocks. Some kind of shuffling. What do you do?
Am I the only? No, we're all three of us are on watch.
Yeah, there's three of you on watch. Like you, Kai, and Terel are all there, but you're the one who notices a sound.
Okay, so I'm going to sort of.
You feel like you hear somebody moving.
I'm going to point in that direction and say, something's moving up there. Do we need to check it out and we want to flank it?
We probably should.
All right. So I guess we sort of try to creep forward as subtly and sneakily as possible. Maybe one straight on, the others, coming around the side.
Yeah, I'll go off to one side and try and get behind him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to share a map with you. There's camp, or a theoretical approximation thereof. There are a few things I haven't included on this map, like there's there's a goat tethered to one wagon, and there's like a few random chickens clucking about. And there's probably like you can see more wagons in the distance. And there's several like people camped out in sleeping bags, pallets on the ground that aren't in tents. but those rocks to the north, you're tripping around. Do another perception check.
Oh, it's
Yeah, you get one more.
tripped over.
One more cherry.
Oh, one more cherry.
Hang on. What about Sprinkles? Because she has perception +3 and dark vision.
We'll roll for Sprinkle.
How do I do that? Okay. Oh,
I will tell you that I also rolled a natural 20 on stealth. But
My total's 24, so does that beat yours?
Mine does beat that.
Ah.
But you can... I'm going to give you credit, though, because I think because you know that there was something around that was making noise, there's some kind of advantage there. And I don't know why I just ate 2 cherries, because I rolled one of those 20s. What am I thinking?
Oh, nice.
Oh, it burns!
So funny.
It burns! Ugh! You're crawling north of a tent, just north of a tent. I'm going to move you here. You can kind of position yourselves accordingly. I'm putting you on this map. At least I thought I was putting you on this map. Where's Kai?
Kai's fast asleep behind a rock.
Kai fell asleep during guard duty.
Mm.
That sounds very Kai.
It does.
Yelena, you're creeping around the rocks. Kai, Sprinkles, still kind of like out of it. Terel, still really pissed at Lord Jomont for some reason. Gah! Or maybe you're just thinking about his dad and how much like his dad was such an asshole. It's like one of those complete like brain tangents. Just thinking about Lord Jomont made you think about his father. It made you think about how much his father was just a terrible person.
Mm.
And you've just gotten lost down that pathway and totally don't notice what Yelena has spotted, which is several goblins crawling amongst the rocks, trying to be quiet.
All right, stuff popped up and then disappeared. Oh, nope, there they are.
But Yelena sees them. She sees goblins crawling over the rocks. Dun dun dun!
Indeed.
Hi. And that's where we're going to end this episode, because I know we've run long. But next time,
cool.
But next episode,
Battle.
Next time, fight.
Right, next time we
Cool.
need to get a strategy in plan so we can take goblins out.
Goblins crawling around your campsite late at night. What are they doing? What's up? Oh God, that's not good. And I gotta figure out what's going on with our little talkie push to talk things. I'm very disappointed. OBS, I'm disappointed in you. J'accuse.
Yeah. Update. Buggered everything.
But at least we have sound.
This is true. This is definitely an improvement from us.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna get sound fixed only to have the push to talk, like signaling, like vtubing stuff go down the tank. It's always something. But hey. At least we played D&D, yeah?
We did.
Yeah.
So, okay, segueing into trying to do a quick Roses and Thorns because we've run late. My thorn is that what the hell is going on with the push to talk little pictures? And my rose is, thank God we're out of Ruchevert. Thank God Honeyfest is over.
That's hilarious.
Finally.
Yep.
Yay! No more Honeyfest. That map, we will never see it again. That little display, it's gone.
Yeah, you say that.
Okay. Terel, Roses Thorns.
Roses. Sprinkles. I have an Owlbear.
Yay!
Which fits in really nicely with my plan to multi-class. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. And Thorns, what a crappy set of rolls for the bloody Tug O War.
I know. I'm so disappointed. I
Suck.
thought I guess I knew that the characters were going to be even. Like you guys had overall both teams were +4 on strength mods. So I thought it was like 50-50 that you were going to win. And it was such a blowout and I really feel bad about that.
Nah, it's fine. I'd rather get all my bad rolls out before we actually have to fight something important. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's the case anyway.
Kai's probably going to die.
Don't say that.
Because Kai rolled so well.
Probably.
So
I know.
So well.
start working on the next character.
Kai is our secret weapon for all things.
Mm.
It's the super secret draw power. Yeah. Can't keep Murderface down. He's an
Nope.
institution. Yelena, Roses Thorns.
Sorry, that's me. So yay, yeah, we're on the road. We're gonna move. We're gonna do some stuff. Thorns, I'm sort of disappointed about the wing boots, man.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that was on the list, and I briefly thought about getting those instead of the bracers.
Which is the whole reason they were even raffled off.
I know,
really.
it's like, oh man. So maybe that'd be nice if it's like another pair kind of came up, maybe available for purchase or later.
I'm not going to just give them to you, but let's at least have the chance.
Yeah, exactly. Because that would be sort of awesome to be like ranged, like up in the air and shooting would be kind of cool.
I mean, let's be honest. You had like maybe a 6% chance that one of you was going to win.
Exactly.
Because I will say there was stuff going on with. I mean, you kind of figured out the whole raffle situation that it was just Johanna being Johanna.
Yeah.
And she had like done multiple tickets for certain numbers. She had also done multiple tombola balls for certain numbers.
Mm.
And Yelena had one of the ball numbers that had more than one ball in the tombola.
Oh, my odds were increased.
So your odds were actually a little bit higher of winning than anybody else's. Everybody else had like a 1 out of 100 chance of winning those boots.
And yet the stupid halfling child won him.
And yet the stupid halfling child, which is basically the default, was like if Terry's numbers didn't win, if your numbers didn't win, the stupid halfling child was going to win, and that's what happened. But I mean, y'all could have like tried to get them off.
Are we going to be traveling along the road and we're going to see this little halfling kid go down the road?
It's up to you whether or not you try to like get the halfling kid to sell her boots. I mean, that's all.
Yeah, there are times when I regret being a paladin and just think I should be a bad guy and just steal what I need. But anyway.
Neutral good. That's your
Yeah.
job. You don't have to be lawful.
Cool.
And your life choices up till now have been a little bit on the chaotic side.
This is true. Yeah, exactly. No.
Murdering
It wasn't
nobles.
murder. Protecting.
Murdering Joe's or Monty's dad or whatever we're gonna call him. Oh, Kai. Roses Thorns.
Roses, I really enjoyed all of my super duper rolls up until the last 2 rolls, I think it was.
It was uncanny.
It was, wasn't it?
It's ridiculous.
I don't know if I've got a thorn. Although, D&D aside, it looks like Lancashire's going to win the T20 Blast for this year.
She's watching
my big thorn.
She's watching the cricket while we're.
That was multitasking.
Yeah. So yeah, big thorn.
It's finals day. Sorry.
Big thorn.
Yeah. Yeah. So good game. Yeah. Looking forward to getting on with killing some goblins and whatnot.
So here's a question: Do you guys want to bother? I mean, I kind of want to have like battle music, but if you guys like feel like that's going to be stressful,
I think it'd be hilarious to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think
if you can get it to work, but don't worry if you can't.
I think what we have to do is I send you a link and you have to follow that link and you might have to actually register on Syrinscape's website, but not actually do anything else.
That's fine. I'm all for the atmospheric music.
And then I think their Syrinscape online tool will work and play sounds for you guys. So we'll try that for next session.
All right, that
if
sounds
you're
good.
all amenable.
Yeah.
I will
For
try
sure.
to figure out what the hell is going on with the push to talk. I think I blame some kind of OBS update has ruined everything and made me sad. Because
Yeah.
that's what destroyed the last time Streamer Kit didn't work. And it was like between updates of OBS that things did not work the way they were supposed to. But it's really
All
sad
right.
because I loved it. It was pretty. Last thing. What's the next time we play is... Gosh, that's not a calendar. Theoretically, August 20th. So that's theoretically August 20th is our next date we will play. You will be fighting goblins.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, 20th is fine. 21st we're at cricket, but yeah, 20th is fine.
We will theoretically finish before cricket ever happens on the 21st.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
They're
Well,
just
we've got
goblins.
yeah,
Y'all are mighty and powerful. You're like Emerald Enclave professionals.
Well,
What
you saw
are
how long
goblins?
We
how
got
long
this.
did it take us to get out of blinking Honeyfest?
Yeah, it
How
took
many
like 4
sessions that's
sessions.
again? Yeah.
It was supposed to take 1, maybe 2. It took 4.
Yeah, so there's a
Dear
chance
God,
there'll be,
we're going to be traveling to Parnast till 2024. You know that's what this means.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well,
Well-
if nothing else, it'll improve our decision making, won't it?
Yeah, and I'm gradually streamlining the amount of junk I throw at you. So here's hoping.
It's all good. Eh,
Whee! Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that will be the end of this 4th session of Help in the High Forest.
Super.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.